Okay, gents, we are live. For those listening at home, welcome to the Live from the Sword Coast podcast for Friday, September 11th, 2015. My name is Kevin Madison, and I am your friendly dungeon master. With us this evening, I have two of our regular participants in this podcast. Guys, you want to do a quick introduction of who you are?
Sure. I'm Brent, and I am playing a warrior.
You're actually not. Tonight.
Okay, I am not playing what I thought we were playing. That's why I'm like, why do we need a Dragon Age, right?
Yeah, that's right. Dave?
My name is Dave, and I will also be playing a character that I'm not aware of tonight.
It's going to be good when we get back to a regular game, so we know. Okay, so tonight, guys, we were going to be continuing the GURPS Eberron game that we had played last time. I actually done a fair amount of work on that as well. But the last 2 weeks, I've been pretty much working every waking hour on a side project. So I'm, to be honest, fucking exhausted. We're missing a ton of our other players tonight. So I actually had picked up, and I mentioned this to Brent about a week ago, the hardback for the new Dragon Age role-playing game. Now, this is a game that's been out for about 2 years now, or 3 years. It was released in a series of, in kind of this flavor of old school D&D, like the basic set of smaller, hardcover or rather box sets, where you gain levels in each of the series of box sets. This is the first time they've collected all into one. It's a fucking gorgeous book, and there's a lot of really interesting ideas that they introduce in here that I want to incorporate into our ongoing campaign, regardless of whatever we end up playing. Most likely it's going to be GURPS, because I can steal most of these ideas and make it work in GURPS. But I thought it'd be fun to give this a whirl tonight. What you guys will be playing, I sent you an email a moment ago. It has a bundle of pre-generated characters in it. And then there's also an email with the quick start rules. Now, for the quick start rules, the only thing you need to worry about is page 12. Page 12 is a sheet that looks like this. Now, while, Brent, you're pulling that up, I'll give you guys a little, the mechanic in Dragon Age is very similar to GURPS, where you're rolling 3d6 to do all task resolution. But the thing is you want to, you have a separate colored dice in the ones you're rolling, okay? Now, unlike GURPS, you want to roll high. You don't want to roll low, because you're going to roll and you're going to add your results to it, or add your ability and any focuses you have. Dragon Age doesn't fiddle around with skill bits and whatnot. You have a set of abilities which are just flat numbers. Those are added to the dice that you roll, and then you also can add, if you have applicable focuses, which are things like, if you see, I'm not sure if you've had a chance to pull up the character sheets, but they can be things like, self-discipline for willpower, or nature lore for cunning, or axes for strength, for whacking people. The neat mechanic with Dragon Age that is going to come up a lot is you roll your 3d6, and what you do is you keep an eye out for doubles. If you roll doubles, then the other colored dice, the one that is the one that is different colored from the other two dice, that's called your dragon die. When you roll doubles and you succeed, you get a number of stunt points equal to your dragon die. And that allows you to do a lot of different neat stuff. That's in combat, in role-playing encounters, in other types of encounters as well. Spellcasting and that type of thing. For instance, in combat, you could use stunt points to move yourself or your target. You could rapidly reload your missile weapon. You can knock the target prone. You can set up a defensive stance against future attacks. You can use a mighty blow and do extra damage. And then that sheet that I've directed you to, this gives you what each of those stunts cost. For the setting of Dragon Age, it is very much, I'm not sure if either of you guys have played the Dragon Age video games. Brent, I think have owned them, but I don't know if you played them.
I played a good chunk of the first one till it crashed and I lost everything. And the day earlier this week when you talked about Dragon Age, I downloaded and went through the quick sheets.
Oh, excellent. Okay, great. So you can help. So There's the way that the setting is set up is it's dark fantasy for one. It's very, there are elves, there are dwarves, and there are humans with swords and stuff like that. But it is a dark fantasy setting. It is not unicorns and problem-free spellcasting. It is dark beings beneath the earth. It is corrupting magic. It is civil strife. The setting for it is this region called Ferelden. And for the purposes of tonight, the only thing you guys need to know is that you guys are members of a royal family, a noble family, located in the eastern part here near a place called the Brecilian Forest. Brecilian Forest is a wild and primordial region. Ferelden is kind of a frontier of the world. The world's called Thedas. What you guys are also kind of on the frontier of the frontier. You're very, very near the edge of kind of the wild wilderness. We are set at a time just prior to what's called the Fifth Blight. There have been a series of massive wars fought against something called the Blight, which is kind of like monsters, demonic creatures from beneath the earth. The other major things you need to know about is like dwarves in this setting are very much like dwarves in every other setting. They love working with metal. They're very caste oriented, much more so than in a lot of other settings, to the point where surface dwarves are actually exiles and despised by the dwarves living in the actual dwarven homeland of Orzammar. And elves actually have had a really, as much as Iron Kingdoms puts the shit end of the stick for elves, Dragon Age kind of does it even more. The elves were roughly 1,000 years ago. The elves were their culture was decimated by an empire called the Tevinter Imperium, who then took all the ones that survived the decimation were brought into slavery and lived in slavery for hundreds of years. In human hands. They were then freed and allowed to settle in this land I think it's about 400 years ago from the present date, in this land called the Dales. And unfortunately, when they turned to the worship of the gods that their ancestors had followed, humans who follow another god, the Maker, in a temple called the Chantry, they found that to be heretical and demonic, demon worshipping, so they annihilated the Dales as well. So that the elves have had the distinction of losing their homeland twice in this. Many of the elves have just given up on that belief, so there are some elves who just live in human lands, speak human languages, and know nothing about their history. And there are other elves that are still trying to recapture some of that lost knowledge and culture. For tonight, I'm going to ask that you not play. One of the sample characters is a Dalish elf. I'm going to ask that you ignore that one because that's actually part of the backstory. And a Dalish elf probably would have nothing to do with a human noble family. What I'm going to ask is that one of you guys pick one of the human NPC or human characters to play. And the humans we've got here. In Dragon Age, there are only 3 classes. There are warriors, rogues, and mages. And the reason is because for one thing, the video game does it that way. So the role-playing game follows suit. But what happens is you end up, as your character advances, you end up specializing a lot. So your character becomes much more distinct in the course of advancement. Rogues are what turn into things like assassins and thieves, as well as rangers and scouts and things like that. Warriors can run everything from knights to berserkers to soldier, like warlords type character. And mages, there are 2 types of mages you have to choose from. There are circle mages, which are members of the legal order of mages. They are supervised by a group from the Chantry called the Templars. They're there to make sure that the mages don't get possessed by demons and then run amok as abominations. The other one is apostate. An apostate is a mage who has learned his or her craft outside of the circle. They are illegal. They will be hunted by Templars, but there's still lots of them around. Some apostates are just smart about their use of magic. Some are just, they're not necessarily on the road to evil. It's just that they don't they chafe at the control that is forced by the circle. So there is for humans. First off, do either of you guys fancy playing the scion of a noble house?
I would go for whichever one's a mage.
Well, we can you can play a human. There's a human circle mage character.
Sure. That's
in there. Okay. And then Dave, the other characters that are in there are. I'm assuming you're not going to play a mage, so I'll just take those out. So we're not doubling. It gives you each some of your own thematic space to play in. There is, let's see here, a human rogue who is an Orlesian exile. The Orlesians are, it's a empire to the west of us. It's very much like the sort of Renaissance France type setting. They fight with light blades. They're kind of more flamboyant and fashion oriented than what the Ferelden's are. There is a dwarven rogue who is his background is dwarf duster. When you create characters on your own, you not only pick your race, you pick a background. And backgrounds are things like circle mage or apostate or dwarven duster or dwarven clansman or Avari tribesman. Like it's your background plus your class is what makes it sort of the holistic character. There's also a human who's a freeman, a Ferelden freeman. There is no in Ferelden in this region. There is nobility, but they basically have to fight or like curry favor with the locals. They're called your family, Brent, is your father, I guess, would be the Ban. He's the guy who is the local lord. But bans compete for the taxes of the freemen. They have a thing called a lands meet, and they all get together, and then they kind of present their positions, and then each of the freemen decides whose lot to throw it in with. Then they have to pay, and then the normal sort of feudal system functions. They pay their taxes. The ban protects them, but it's a little more democratic than in Europe. Dave, the other options, let's see here, are there is a city elf rogue. So sort of again an elf who grew up in one of the elven ghettos called an alienage. And as a rogue, probably didn't have the greatest of backgrounds or greatest of upbringings. And then you have your Ferelden freeman warrior, who is a sort of like I'm guessing like a salt of the earth type who's turned to become a man at arms rather than someone who is. Someone who has been born to it as a nobleman. Do any of those appeal to you?
Well, actually, the Ferelden freeman,
yep,
the duster,
okay,
and the exile all kind of look interesting.
Okay, interesting. So which okay, here's one of the other really cool things with the game. What you guys are also going to come up with, and this will hopefully help you make your decisions, is you set goals for your characters. So in addition to whatever is going on in the campaign, you pick 3 goals, and those can be short-term goals or long-term goals. And that helps sort of frame the way the campaign goes. And then when you reach those goals, you get tangible mechanical benefits. So, which is in the purpose, it's something I'm going to steal for GURPS, because basically, like, if you guys have something you want to work towards, I'll just bank character points towards that as you go on. And then when you reach a point, you can get that. So goals can be, or examples of these goals are things like prove myself worthy, discover my missing father, avenge my family, avenge my honor, attain great wealth, locate my ancestral sword, slay the monster, make it up to them, learn forbidden magic, a good death. That one, obviously, you probably don't want to meet. Start a successful business, find my true love, get a Mabari warhound. The Fereldens, because they come from kind of barbarian stock in the ancient past, they love dogs. And they've got these massive, like, imagine if you're combining kind of like a bulldog, a mastiff, and a pit bull into one animal. That's what a Mabari warhound is like.
They had cool animations in the game.
Sorry?
And they had really cool animations in the first
They're
one.
awesome in the game. Achieve ultimate power. Study with a great master. Delve the deep roads. The deep roads are sort of like the Underdark in this game. They're the connecting trails that dwarves have carved through the subterranean realms. Get back my ship. Find a home for my people. Kill my brother, or take control. So some of those are long-term or very long-term. Some of those are short-term. But those are examples of kind of what you're going to set before we start the session. The 3 goals that you have for your characters. Do any of those help kind of like make one of these?
Are we brothers?
What's that?
Are we brothers?
You guys will know if you want. I mean, we can file off the name. It sounds like if Dave.
It's okay. I was just sort of making a joke about the killing the brothers.
Oh yeah, yeah. Do I get my? Where's my reward?
Goal accomplished. Where's that XP bonus?
So does that help, Dave? Figure out what maybe Brent. What you can do too is if you've got ideas for what goals your guy has, how that might fit in. That might help Dave make a decision.
Hey, Kev.
Yeah.
I think I'll opt for the Ferelden Freeman.
Sweet.
And I'll have his goal be to try to attain knighthood.
Ooh, interesting. Okay. So that's one goal. What other goals does he have? That's sort of a mid-range or long-term goal. What else does he want? Is there anything that you could think of a goal that he may have for the short term? Short-term goals might be things like prove yourself worthy. Demonstrate worthiness as a warrior by besting a formidable opponent in battle without losing composure. My character wants to make the knights see that she has what it takes, so they'll trust her with serious missions.
How about train under a renowned master?
Okay.
Or is that more long-term?
Yeah, that's more of a long-term thing too. That prove yourself worthy is a good short-term goal for your guy. Like if he wants to show his, like maybe don't say to the knights, but to the Lord, to whoever Brent's father is, you want to demonstrate yourself as being like, I'm better than my compatriots. So
I like it. Let's go with that.
Okay. Okay. Which actually may be why you are assigned to be basically Brent's character's protector. Here is like his bodyguard or his whatever you want to call it, Brent.
Yojimbo?
Is what? His Yojimbo, exactly. Okay, so Brent, for yours, have you thought of what maybe your goals are?
Yeah, one of them would be to seek autonomy or some independence from the circle. They usually, from my understanding, they kept a very tight lid on or tight control over their mages.
Yep. Yes, they do.
And whether that's proving himself kind of capable of it, or whether it's joining the Grey Wardens,
Okay.
that would either would work.
At this point, the Grey Wardens are sort of seen as like the last blight was so long ago that the Grey Wardens have dramatically decreased in influence and power. So
okay. He's not sort of looking at it as a monster fighter, as more of like it would give me independence.
Okay. Well, that's why I mentioned that at this point, Brent, because the Grey Wardens are so far, like have fallen not out of favor, but they're just like, oh, really? Like that would be like, someone right now declaring themselves a privateer. Like that's just weird and anachronistic, and it's not really the place or time for this stuff.
Okay. So we'll just go with the sort of seek autonomy.
Cool. What other goals do you think?
Study under a great master.
Okay. Well, that means you'd have to throw your lot in with the circle.
Possibly. Not all great masters would be with the circle.
Yeah, that's quite true. Okay.
What
about short-term goals? Short-term goals, Brent, the examples they give here are things like locate my ancestral sword, slay the monster, a fearsome beast stalks the land, ending lives and spreading terror. My character wants to be the one to bring peace and calm finally to the people. Turns out actually there is something that's causing problems in this region.
Brent would like to die a good death, if you please, Kev.
I will go for the magical staff.
The which?
I said the magical staff.
The magical staff. Yeah, you. I bet. Okay, you are.
How about I obtain a warhound? My father's from Noble, and he's my family's been breeding them for generations.
Okay.
But I got one my own because the rest of my family's always been warriors. I'm the first in the family to be sort of sent off to the circle and sort of looked down upon.
Sure.
And so where all my other brothers are warriors and they have their own dogs, I don't.
Okay, that sounds awesome. Okay, so the what we need then is just names for your guys, and I'll give you some sample Ferelden names here that you can either choose from or come up with your own. Because where is it? Here we go. Ferelden names for men include Adam, Alistair, Edward, Garrick, Landon, Marden, Richard, Robert.
I'll go with Alistair.
Alistair, okay. Dave, any of those stand out for you?
Let's go with Connor.
Connor, okay. Now, as a commoner, you wouldn't really have a last name. You could have something like, Connor the Big or Connor the whatever. But Brent, your last name is probably going to be from the family seat. Where would that be?
I don't know. I don't remember Ferelden that well. It's been
No. You're not picking an actual location, Brent. Yours is going to be a made-up place. It's a minor. Okay. You're part of a minor noble family. So it would be, and you're on the edge of the Brazilian forest. So you can kind of think in those terms, like it could be somewhere in kind of like rolling hills, or something to do with the forest, or something to do with a distinctive landmark, or some kind of distinctive weather pattern. Like Red Deer near here always has this weird weather pattern where it seems gray and shitty in there because of this valley. Maybe there's a local weather pattern that's good or bad.
I'll go with something referencing a forest. I just don't have any ideas off the top of my head. Give me a couple minutes. Sure. I just printed a reference sheet off, so I need to go grab it from my printer, and I'll be right back.
Great, okay. Now, how's your week been, Dave?
It's been fairly steady, but no surprises.
Yep.
How about yours?
It was good. I'm just trying to finish off that. I got the next 2 days before the comic goes to the printers, so that's a bit of crunch time, and just work is really busy right now. And I just had it just became. I think I'm going to be looking for a new job fairly soon, like Monday. Yeah, because it's become. There's been a lot of institutional changes in the way things go, and the way that they operate, the organization functions. It's not the job that I had taken originally, and I think it's time to go back to private practice.
Really?
So, yeah.
We were speaking before. You were really glad to have gotten out of private practice, and
I was, and like the job that it was before was certainly great, but it's the longer that I stay as in-house at this point, the more detrimental it's going to be for my long-term career. And the amount of times I'm like, we got you for promotion, but there's institutional problems. That became glaringly apparent that they're just stalling me this week. It's going to be, like my heart has not been in this job for the last 6 months anyway. It would be good to shake things up and go do something new and do something a little different too.
Stay in the same general sector, or
I'll be a litigator still. It's just that I'll probably expand out to be doing hopefully more areas of law than just insurance defense. Like insurance defense is it's as long as people get in car crashes and slip and fall, then there's going to be job security for me. But the bump in pay going back to private practice, and also just kind of hopefully kind of shaking the sort of malaise that I've got with respect to the practice would probably help as well. Like I said, my heart's just not in this job anymore, and then the institutional changes that have been made in the last little while are just the metric that we're measuring our success. The thing I liked about the job before was that I could do what I felt was best for files and the results were really the only thing that mattered. Now there is things that we're being assessed on that in a lot of cases don't make any sense whatsoever for files, but if you do them, you get scored for them. So it's just like, which is how we assess external counsel. So if you're going to hold us to the same metric that you're going to hold external counsel who do things for the sake of doing them, not because they're necessarily the best thing for a file, well, then I want to get paid the way they do.
Right.
Because otherwise it's, but so anyway, that's been my week in it's kind of working on this comic has been a good eye opener for like, maybe I need to make some changes.
Right. I just want to. Are you okay with all of this being recorded? I mean, I know it's not.
No one's gonna. Yeah, absolutely. No one from work would ever see this anyway.
Right.
Yes, I'm not. I think that the 10 subscribers that we have on this channel will not be terribly. I'm not concerned about loose lips there. Brent, did you come up with a name for your family?
No, I'm printer doesn't work family.
Okay.
Stop masturbating.
Electronic Gremlins family.
Is it a wireless printer?
Yes, and it keeps telling me that it's gone from that. My computer says it's printed, and I go to my printer, and it's sitting there like it hasn't received a print job.
Yeah.
So I just re-hit it again, and I was trying just to print the one page, so I just tried to print the whole document. I don't know if that's gonna.
So what's happened here is Brent's printer's become sentient and is fucking around with him because he knows he's on a completely different floor than the printer.
I know. Based on
before, Skynet strikes the printers first.
Family. Not want to be cut down.
Okay. So actually, well, Brent, while we're waiting for that to sort out, let's talk about the so the character sheets. This should be very straightforward, even more so than GURPS. You have, let's see here.
Kev?
Yep.
I just want to bring to your attention that Brent is no longer in the room.
No, of course. Well, Brent actually has read through this before, so I think he should know most of the stuff.
Okay.
For yours, though, so looking at Connor, you'll see that you got your abilities listed there, like communication, constitution, cunning, dexterity, blah, blah, blah. Those are all what you would add to your 3d6 roll.
Okay.
Okay, and then if you've got a number or something next to it, like swimming, stamina, self-discipline, those are focuses. Those are things that you get to add +2 in addition to whatever the regular attribute is.
Okay.
Okay. What I'm going to suggest as well is that we swap swimming for heavy blades. Or wait, hold on. No, ignore me. You already get that. Strength +3. Hold on, I think that actually they screwed up the math here. Oh no, they didn't. Okay. Okay, so for your, what I'm going to suggest, Dave, is for your foci to maybe swap the swimming with heavy blades, which would allow you to add, instead of +3 to hit, you get a +5 to hit with your swords.
Okay.
Okay. Actually, which do you prefer better? Do you see your dude using a bastard sword more or using a two-handed axe more?
Probably a two-handed axe.
Okay, so why don't we say ignore swimming and add a focus of axes to your strength. And what that means is you're +5 to hit with your two-handed axe and +4 to hit with your throwing axe.
Excrement.
Yeah. Okay. Your health is essentially your hit points in this game. Your armor rating is how much armor you reduce from your when you're hit. Brent, your 3 spells are Flame Blast, Stone Fist, and did you print off the whole doc, Brent?
No, it's not. I'm booting up Laura's computer. I'm going to try it from there. Right now, I've just got the doc on PDF. So if I minimize the picture of you, I can pull that up.
No, it's okay. You don't need. Much as I appreciate you looking at my smiling face, it's not necessary for the gameplay. So your Flame Blast, Brent. It costs. What I'll do is I'll ask you to maybe write down just what these things are for now. It costs you 3 mana points to cast. It's a major action, and the TN is a 12. So basically, you create this gout of flame that's 8 yards long, 2 yards wide. Anyone hit by it must make a dexterity acrobatics test versus your spell power to take 1d6 plus 1 instead. Otherwise, they take 2d6 plus 1 damage.
Sweet.
Okay, so that's yours. Stone Fist, I believe. Let's see here. Same thing, 3 mana points. It's a major action to cast. TN is 11. And what that one does is you hurl a magical rock at a visible enemy up to 20 yards away. It does 1d6 plus your magic stat in penetrating damage and the target's knocked prone. Penetrating damage ignores armor. If the target makes a successful Constitution stamina test versus your spell power, it only inflicts 1d6 penetrating damage and remains standing. And let's see here. Your spell power, incidentally, is 10 plus your magic plus the focus if you got one on that type of magic. All of these are primal. And the last one you got is Walking Bomb. You infuse the blood of an enemy with arcane power. Costs you 4 mana points. Target number is a 13. They make a Constitution and Stamina test. When you cast it, the Walking Bomb inflicts 1d6 plus 1 penetrating damage. And then if at the start of its turn, it makes a test, that Constitution test against your spell power. If it succeeds, the spell ends. If not, it takes another 1d6 plus 1. And if you reduce it to 0 health, it explodes in a spray of blood, flesh, and bones. And anyone within 4 yards of it takes 2d6 damage.
Cool. And sorry, just to the fire one did 2d6 plus 1?
2d6 plus 1 or 1d6 plus 1 on save.
Okay.
Okay. And then let's see here. The only other thing I need to give you, Dave, is your talents. So the way that you model sort of like your special abilities or the ways that your character differs from other people is through the selection of talents. Brent, you'll get a talent, I believe, at second or third. Dave, you have, however, 3 talents you start with. You've got novice armor training, and your talents go from novice, journeyman, master. As you gain levels, what you can do is you can gain a new, either a novice level in one you don't have, or you can advance one of the ones that you already have. At novice level, you can wear leather or mail armor without suffering a dex penalty, Dave. So you don't suffer any penalty for wearing your armor.
Okay.
Your weapon and shield style. Okay, because that actually makes no sense for you to have that, because your two-handed axe doesn't require that. I'll give you the 2 options here, the 2 different styles, Dave, and you can tell me which one you want to use. The weapon and shield, what you've got listed there. If you're using a shield, first of all, you can use shields of all shapes and sizes, and you get the full defense bonus when using a shield. Normally, you only gain a bonus up to, I believe it's +1, regardless of whatever bonus the shields may give you. You got a medium shield, so that would allow you to take +2. +2 to your defense. The two-handed style. Let's see here. The length of your weapon and the power of your attacks forces foes to yield ground. When you hit with a melee attack with a two-handed weapon, you can move the target 2 yards in any direction. So it allows you to bam, kind of stagger guys back. So I'm not sure if the shields technique is the one that you want to use, or you want to use that two-hander instead. Your third technique or your third talent is thrown weapon, which gives you +1 bonus on attack rolls with throwing weapons.
Okay.
So actually, it would be a +5 to hit with your throwing axe then.
Okay.
Okay. So do you want to swap out either your weapon shield or your thrown weapon style? Or are you good with both of those? You know what, Dave? Actually, hold on. You're supposed to have. Oh no, that's not right. Sorry. Ignore me. Ignore me. Do you wish to exchange one of those for that two-handed one, or are you okay with what you got?
Yeah, no, I mean, really, what is the benefit to being able to stagger an opponent with a two-handed weapon, Kev?
Taking it basically, it's something that would be situational. The benefit there is like
advantage potentially.
Tactical, yeah. Like say you're fighting on an enclosed hallway or something like that, or if you're attacking on a ledge somewhere, you could like drive the opponent towards a more hazardous area. Or if you want to get someone off, like say the mage is being attacked by someone, you want to get them off of them, bam, you hit them and you can knock them back. Now you've got other ways you can do that. Like with your stunt points, you can use a skirmish stunt result to do that. But that would just allow you every time you hit to, knock guys back 6 feet.
The shield, Kev.
Okay, then if you're going to do the shield, do you wish to swap your bastard sword for a battle axe? Because the bastard sword, let's see here, the difference in damage is bastard sword does 2d6 plus 1. The battle axe does 2d6. The difference is that you'll be able to add your axe's focus to your attack roll with an axe. You don't get to add it to the bastard sword.
Yeah, that'd be great, actually, if we could do that.
Okay, sure. So that's swap with a battle axe, in which case the damage is 2d6 plus 3 for your strength. And it is +5 to hit. Okay. For recovering, the only thing I'll last to tell you is, sorry, Brent, you back? So you wrestling with the printer?
Yep.
Is he okay? Great. The only other thing I'll tell you is recovering mana points. Oops.
No. I'm sorry, Gav. Brent is away.
Oh, he is away. Okay, well, that actually gives me a chance to look it up then. Where is it? Oh, each full hour of rest, you gain some back. Okay. It's neat too because you can wear armor as a mage, but it costs you more mana to actually cast spells. It's a neat way of allowing you to play the armored mage, but mitigating against that advantage. Okay. So, I'll wait for Brent to get back. What else is new and exciting?
Not a whole lot. We started university.
Oh wow! Awesome.
Yeah. That was 2 days ago. I'm still kind of waiting to hear back how her first day went. The rest of the girls went back yesterday.
Okay.
And other than that, yeah, not a whole lot.
Okay. That's a big lot starting.
Yeah. I mean, it's really kind of our normal September, but but the Haley going to university is kind of that'll be an interesting one.
Yeah.
I don't know that she's particularly ready. I think she was quite glib about what she perceived to be the requirement for university, and I mean, it's going to be eye-opening for her, absolutely.
Yeah, like in terms of how studying is different at university and things like that.
Yeah, or maybe that's just Haley's demeanor that I'm taking for granted, because she typically has a really blasé attitude towards things. I mean, maybe she's sweating balls on the inside. I don't know.
Mm.
But on the exterior, it doesn't seem like she's necessarily as concerned as she perhaps should be.
Isn't that a sort of like a normal teenager affectation though? Like that's sort of the meh. I know what's best. I can handle it.
Yeah, yeah, and you know what? Maybe, I mean, even if you're not feeling it on the inside, perhaps that's what you need to tell yourself to be able to make it through your first year.
Absolutely. It's the fake it until you make it kind of attitude towards it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can sympathize with that. Oh man. Okay. So two other things I'm hoping to try tonight too is the, what do you call it? There's a really great system for running organizations. So you guys are actually going to have control over the Noble House. And the Noble House basically can deal with other organizations in this cool kind of mini game they've got in the game.
Now, is that by virtue of Brent's lineage that we have that ability? Or?
Yes. Yeah. Well, but it does. But you could really do it with anything. Like, let's say if you guys were playing a mercenary group, that could be an organization, and then you would have other organizations that would be potentially you would be plotting, against, and they would be plotting against you as well. And there's actually a cool kind of mini game that's appended to the game to allow. So there's that shared kind of thing, or like say you guys are merchants, or you guys are a member. You know, you're a circle of a circle tower, a tower for one of the circle of mages, or you could be a group of Grey Wardens. This order that fights against the blight. Really any conceivable kind of organization can be modeled with those rules. Like a merchant guild, a Dalish clan, noble houses, a local chantry, an apostate faction, a gang, any type of thing like that. You could be potentially something that is struggling with other similar organizations. There's also really good rules, fairly quick playing rules for mass battles as well, which all interlock with each other. So your characters play roles in the organizations, which also can potentially play roles in the mass battles as well, which allows you to play out a kind of a bigger canvas with the game.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what made you decide to go with this particular adventure?
Well, actually, I really don't. I've got an adventure in mind here, but I'm going to kind of see where the dice take us. For this particular game, it's a game I've enjoyed. I've run a couple times before, and I have It's been an interesting game, and it was one of the ones that was sitting in the back of my mind as one of the potential games that would fit the criteria that we've been talking about over the last couple of months. But it didn't really crystallize until I got the hardback a couple of weeks ago. It was, I think, maybe a week and a half ago I got it. And I've been working so much on the comic that I really only had time to kind of poke at it. But it didn't, in the original games, it didn't have these organizational rules, and it didn't have the mass battle rules. And I'm a sucker for mass battle rules, largely because it's really hard to do it properly in a playable way in role-playing games. But it can be I love war stories. So if it is done properly, which Five Rings does a really good job of it as well, it can make for really fucking cool, moments where the characters really get to be important, parts of the battle or parts of some kind of big plot changing or setting changing element. So that's just, and the setting itself, I love dark fantasy. I like dark fantasy with a little more, my ideal setting is a little closer to Iron Kingdoms, where there is, mail systems and guns and railroads and stuff like that, because then you can have more sophisticated stories, I think. But this one has a really great setting that's hits a lot of the points that I love. Sorry, Brent, Dave was asking me why I kind of thought to run this tonight. I did go nuts with GURPS after our last session, and I've got a ton of material that I've got to type up for you guys to give, to help you grapple with the kind of beast that is GURPS. I've got an electronic copy of the base set of like the 2 core books that Brent now has, but I don't want to send it to you guys, or I didn't want to send it to you guys just yet because it's easy to look at it and go, what the fuck? Like, no, 600 pages of rules? No. It is not that intimidating once you've got set some parameters on it. But for today, I was like, fuck it. I really want to see how this game plays. Anyway, we're short a bunch of players, and this is going to be, I think the gameplay will be a little more straightforward than what GURPS was.
Sorry about disappearing there. What had happened was I hit print button multiple times on my tablet.
Yeah.
And on a laptop, and then nothing was happening. So I unplugged the printer, plugged it back in, and then all the print jobs started coming through of the multiple ones of just the combat sheet, of the full document. So I was actually canceling that, so I don't know shit out. So,
okay.
so now I'm good. I've got the combat sheet, and we're set.
Excellent. Okay, cool. So this is pretty much everything. This is the other, Dave, in answer to your question, one of the other things that I really did love about the last time I ran it is the stunt rules are really fucking fun at the table. It's one of the things that reads kind of weird. It doesn't read weird. It reads, you're like, oh, okay, that's you know, that's an interesting idea for a rule. But in play, it becomes really, really fun because it allows characters to be really inventive, and you're looking at your dice for more than just the total result. Okay, so Brent, what I was saying to Dave is that we're also going to be using the newest version, or at least the version of Dragon Age that I've got has also organizational level rules. So you guys will, in addition to playing your characters, Brent, you will also be playing your family. What is your family's name, by the way? Have you come up with that, or is it Printer's Mill?
Either. What do you think, Strongwood or Oakheart?
I like Oakheart better.
Yeah.
What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're equally as good.
Sort of a bit on the cheesy side, but it works.
Yeah, it works. Actually, Brent, if you really want to make it a little fantasy, spell it HART and have your symbol be an elk's head.
Yeah, that could work. The other one that would have been even more cheesy would just be called it Hardwood.
Hardwood.
Symbol.
I am from House Laminate Flooring. Okay.
Well, Hardwood could have like multiple meanings to it,
Yeah.
depending on what's inscribed on one shield.
There you go. Okay, so Oakheart, Alistair. Oh, no, yeah, that's right. Alistair Oakheart, and Connor. Connor, do you have some kind of other appellation? You know, or are you just known as Connor?
Connor the Just.
Connor the Just. Okay, I will be interested to hear how you got that nickname. Okay, so tell me what you guys look like. Look at from your attributes, I can tell you that Connor, you are really big. Your Constitution +3 is quite big. You're strong. You're willful, and you're quite fairly agile as well. Brent, you're actually quite eloquent in terms of, because your communication is +2, and you got +2 with etiquette on top of that. You're quite clever. You're strong in magic, moderately perceptive, and moderately willful as well.
Yeah. And he's got a bit of constitution too.
He does, yeah. No, he's quite. He's probably spent some time growing up in the woods.
So,
So sorry. What do you guys look like?
if I remember correctly, the circle mages have to dress up in they dress in robes, right, as part of their order.
That's right. Yeah.
So I dress in my order's robes. Carry a staff and a backpack. Shortcut, dirty blonde hair with a beard.
Okay. Long beard, short beard.
Short beard.
Okay.
I'm assuming like we're pretty low level, so I'm assuming he's pretty young, probably like late teens, early 20s, something like that.
That sounds about right. Okay. Now let's see here. It's going to be House Oakheart.
I'll have to find a copy of that. I'm interested in the organizational rules more than anything else, but you've intrigued me because, like you were saying, a lot of games don't do that very well. Savage Worlds does group things well, but it's hard to find useful.
We're going to be. You're going to get a chance to flavor to take a taste of each of these things tonight. Okay, so what the way that organizations are set up is they have attributes just like characters. Those scores are added to the different roles that you'll need. Generally, what you do is you pick a period of time to make a a health check? No, a growth check. So what I'm going to say is every month we'll make a growth roll for the for House Oakheart. And then what can happen is you take your highest attribute, you add any applicable focuses, because just like your abilities, you can have focuses for the organizations as well. And then you have what's called your attributes are might, wealth, influence, intrigue, and magic. And then in addition, there are two other attributes that matter. They are your structure, how well your organization weathers change, and your stability. Your stability is kind of like your hit points for your organization. It's how well your organization is held together, I guess. For House Oakheart, you have your might is 4. I've got these written down, so don't worry about this, but just to give you an idea. Might is 4 with a focus on garrison. You have a keep, a family keep. Your wealth is 3. Your influence is 2 with a specialty in state or focus in state. An intrigue of 1 and a magic of 0. Your structure is 4 and your stability is 35.
Now, I feel bad about the magic of 0. I feel as part of the family, I should be able to contribute more than a 0.
Maybe that's something that you've got in mind. Maybe that's one of your goals is to build up the magical influence of House Oakheart. Because things like, here's some of the focuses for magic for organizations are enchanters, which are used to produce enchanted weapons, armor, potions, and incidentally, the magic item stuff in this is as cool as what it is in Iron Kingdoms, but probably even better. You can do so much cool, like special shit with like taking runes in and out and stuff like that to customize your magic items.
Did they have
so lore, mages, and specialized magic. So,
in the full version of the game I haven't seen yet, do they have advanced classes like they did in the games?
Yes. What you do, Brent, is basically as you advance, when you reach 5th level, that's when you gain a specialty. And the specialties are, like, for instance, for mages are things like Arcane Warrior, Blood Mage, Force Mage, Keeper, Necromancer, Shapeshifter, Spirit Healer. And for warriors, they are things like Berserker, Champion, Chevalier, Guardian, Reaver, Spirit Warrior, and Templar. Oh, hey, Jeff's in here.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Jeff, what's shaking?
Not much. Just wanted to log in from San Diego and say hi for a minute.
Hey,
I didn't bring my dice or anything, but figured I'd still punch the clock and say hi.
Awesome, that's great. We're playing tonight, Jeff. We are playing Dragon's Age.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it's we're just the guys are playing the scions of a noble house, House Oakheart, and we're just talking about sort of what happens as you advance in the game. So, Brent, yeah, you do have those specializations just like in the in the video game. If you see actually in Brent I'm not sure if the quick start rules have them, but basically, like what happens is your abilities, your specialty, your focuses, your foci, your talents, and your specializations. Those are the things that you continually keep adding to as you go up. You also gain more spells as you go up as well. But for the specialties, one of the neat things, Brent, is you actually have to work towards them in game. like for someone like Arcane Warrior, for instance, for the mage, that is a specialty that is like a lost elven art. If you want to learn that one, you got to go out in game and find some way to learn that specialty.
Did you ever find it? I trained with that one in the first Dragon Age game, and you had to go find a guy in a lost.
It was so long ago. Like I played that game through when it first came out, and I haven't touched it since. So it's been a lot of years. I don't really remember what I think I went Templar with my character, but.
Okay, I went the mage route, and that Arcane. I did take Arcane Warrior, and you have to go to the Alvin Woods, and it was either you found him in his spirit. It was either imprisoned in a mirror or a bottle or a book or something.
Okay, so okay, guys. So what we need to do is first off, I'm gonna get you guys to roll for the organizations. So for your House Oakhearts, this is for this month. I'm going to get you guys to roll for the growth. So what you'll need, again, is 3d6 with one of your d6s a different color, so it can be known as the dragon die. The dragon die is actually another neat way is that's what's used in a bunch of different inventive ways. For extended tests, like if you're trying to do things over a long period, they call them advanced tests. What you're doing is if you just look at your dragon die. Oh, look at that background, Jeff. That's amazing.
Yeah, I just thought I'd show you guys the where I am.
That's beautiful.
What are you doing in San Diego, Jeff?
Just having a vacation.
Nice.
My dad's here for a conference, and he wanted someone to go with him, so I volunteered. You know.
You took one for the team, eh?
Yeah, I took one for the team.
Found any good gaming stores?
Yeah, I was in one kind of decent comic book shop, but it's been so super humid here, and the comic book shop had like no air conditioning or anything, and I didn't want to touch anything.
Yeah, that's a comic book. This is as a comic book fan, but
Yeah.
you know, closed environments with a bunch of sweaty comic book guys.
Yeah, no, I'm just
Yeah.
no thanks.
It's such a cool city, though.
Oh, it's a wonderful city.
Mm. Cool.
Well, I'll let you guys get back to your game. I just wanted to say hi.
Well, thanks, Jeff. So have a great vacation. Enjoy the rest of your time out there.
See you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, sounds good. See you in 2 weeks.
Jeff.
All right, see you soon.
Night.
Okay. So what I need you guys to do is make one of the dice rolls. We're going to make a roll for might is your best attribute. So why don't you go ahead and make a roll, Brent or Dave?
I rolled a 9 total.
Okay. Now, did you remember, Brent? You're going to look for doubles.
No doubles.
No doubles. And did you add 4 to it?
No, 13 total.
13 total. Okay, so what that means is that you did, you succeeded, which means you maintained your current conditions. You've got no losses or anything like that. If you had rolled a double, then you would have had options to do some stunts from growth. So let's say, what did you roll? Okay, one habit to get into for tonight, guys. Once you roll the dice, leave them there because your dragon die may come into play.
Okay.
Okay, so what did you roll in your dragon die, Brent?
3.
3. Okay, so here's what we'll say that you did. Let's say you did stunt. So your options are to rebuild and expand, which adds 1 to add or replace stability at the cost of 1 structure point. You can equip, supply 1 character with an important and significant item, quality arms and armor, a fine horse, etc., or 1d3 minor items suitable to the organization. Those are each for 1 each. For 2, you can exciting opportunities. Gain +2 bonus to the next action the organization takes. 2 useful secrets. You gain an interesting tidbit of information about a rival organization. Learn 2 exact ability scores or focuses from another organization in play. Now, if I had some forethought, what I would have done is statted out a bunch of the other organizations that would have been at play in this region, and then you could learn those abilities. Bolster infrastructure, which is you increase the structure by 1. Remember, the structure is the armor for your organization. A new hire, a skilled or influential NPC joins the organization, reducing the SP cost of 1 plot or growth stunt by 1 SP. So by 1 stunt point. That would, and then, oh yeah, nice. So it would be say you decide, oh, and then the other one, Brent, is contacts. The organization makes a contact that will provide useful information from time to time. So, and that costs 3 points. You got 3 points to spend. What would you like to spend it on? I'll go through quickly. Rebuilding. Equip costs 1 per equip. Exciting opportunities cost 2, gives you +2 to your next roll. Useful secrets gives you 2. Bolster infrastructure costs 3. New hire costs 3, and contacts cost 3.
Okay, so what costs 2?
Useful secrets, learn something about other organization, or exciting opportunities +2 to the next action the organization takes.
Okay, so that would be like your next roll next month type thing?
No, this is your growth check is made every month. You're also going to do plots. Now, plots are when you try and do something against one of the other organizations. Okay. There is a powerful rival minor family or rival noble host that is going to be making a plot against you. So what you will want to do is you may want to learn, say, what their what do you call it? What their what their skills, their abilities are. What else? What their focuses are. And the other for 2 is and then what that Brett, what the exciting opportunities gives you is +2 on either your resistance to their plot or your ability to plot against them or someone else.
Okay.
Plots are kind of, think of like growth is sort of like the maintenance thing, and then plots are when you're trying to achieve stuff.
Okay, so I will take +2 to my next roll.
Okay. Okay.
And
now plots, what you can do, Brent, is these are things like it's very nebulous. It's however kind of you want to describe it. This is your chance to really, for you guys to think of how you want to advance your interests. Other organizations that are in sort of the region, I'm going to say are, we'll say there's a Dalish tribe nearby. There will be a Dalish clan. There's that major home that's nearby. I'm going to say that there's a merchant guild nearby as well. So those are sort of the, and I haven't determined yet what their relationship to House Oakhart are.
Okay, so, and if I took, so that's 2 points for the roll. Yep. If I took 1 point for equipment, could I say give my character a horse or something like that? Is that how that works?
Yep, absolutely.
Cool.
Okay, so you have a horse. You've managed to get yourself a fine horse.
Or could I use it for the dog, or is that you want to do that something different?
No, I'm going to say that's something because that's something you set up as a goal. It's going to be something you have to do in game.
Okay.
Okay. So for this month, do you have now your plots can be, remember your might is a 4, which means that, and might's what's used to, like, you've got probably you're probably from a family of stalwart, soldiers, like you said, with Mabari Warhounds. A might of 4 is pretty good for, that's what you would use in your role against other things to try and, other organizations. In fact, what I'll do is I'll say there's also a bandit, what do you call it? A bandit tribe that's been kind of plaguing the area as well.
Okay.
So, what would you like to do for your plot? Now, these you can start by describing it maybe in a nebulous, like I said. I mean, it's a more of a narrative thing than it is a hard and fast rule. So, like, might would be used to do any kind of force of arms thing. You don't have any focuses that are on the offense. You've got focuses on the defense.
Okay. Well, and my character's sort of cunning too. What if, because we're on the side of the woods and there's a lot of if I remember correctly, there's wild elves there. Maybe he's trying to make peaceful contact with the a wild elf tribe as a mutual defense arrangement against the bandits.
Interesting. Okay. What I'll say, Brent, is that is an influence plot, and it'll be against the yeah, roll against the Dalish Elven tribes. So go ahead, Brent, and roll your dice. Remember, keep an eye out for, and then you're going to add +2 from your bonus and the influence of 2 from your house. 5, 9, 12. I got a 14.
And then so I'm adding 2 for my bonus roll and 2 for the total. Do I add the +4 still as well, the basic bonus?
Which basic bonus?
From the previous roll.
What you're doing, Brent, is that roll is based on your highest ability. Your highest ability happens to be might. Might is 4, wealth is 3, influence is 2, intrigue is 1, and magic is 0.
Okay. So I chose poorly. I should have done something that like a show of force type thing, right?
Yes, but that may have been like, I'm going to be, what you're doing with your plots is you're essentially, you're trying to damage the plots aren't necessarily positive things. You're trying to damage the structure of another organization.
So because of the way my family's set up, it would have been like we set out a war party to take on the bandits or something like that, right?
Well, then what you would do is you probably want to make your plot against the bandits and roll your might against them.
Right. That's sort of what I was getting to maximize the mechanical bonus of my family. Would want to focus it along there more so than what I'm doing now.
That's right. Yeah. So do you want to say that that's what you did instead?
No, you know what? I'm just gonna. I actually kind of like my original thought better.
Okay. So how did you do in your roll, Brent?
I also got a 14 and
nice.
a 3 on my dragon dice.
Okay. So that is okay. So that basically what I'm going to say is that has helped improve the relationship between yourself and the Dalish elves. Over the last month, you sent out your family. What have you done to try to, like, the Dalish basically travel around in these massive wagons, kind of like, fantasy gypsies with these giant or oversized elk or stag that sort of lead them along or tow them. So they're they've sort of been traveling around in the area. What do you think your family might have done to try and help influence that? Okay,
what I'm thinking is why my brothers would probably have taken the offense directly against the bandits. Alistair, who's more about his wits and stuff, maybe approached a group of traveling Dalish who travel around the family's lands. And
Brent, one thing, just let me interrupt. Remember, Brent,
yeah.
This is more about the actual organization, not about your specific character. This is your family influencing out the, this is why it's something for both of you guys to sort of talk over, because it's the resources of your family going out and doing this. If you're saying, oh, my brothers went out and fought bandits, well, that would have been the plot action for this turn. It wouldn't have been the
not so much what our characters would have sort of
like during that month. Your character personally could have gone out and tried to influence the things. Hey, Nick.
Hello.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. Well, we'll redo that then. We'll go. The family would have gone out directly. That would have brought my roll to a 16.
Okay. So then 16 against, and they rolled. All right, so awesome. Then what you did, Brent, is roll 2d6 to determine the effect. This is what you're doing is they are undercutting the stability of the bandits.
Okay, I rolled a 9.
9, nice. Okay, so 9. Let's see here. Oh, plus the ability used. So 9 plus 4, Brent, plus your might.
Okay. So might is 4, so 13 total.
13 total. That's pretty awesome. You inflict some serious this month. Yeah, some serious damage on the bandits. Now that time also a rival home. Nick, we're going to get to you in a moment here, so just bear with us.
Okay.
The rival house, whose name is Gradon, they are going to use their spies against you. So what I need you to do, Brent, is to roll your house's intrigue is a 1. So you're going to roll against what house Gradon is trying. I rolled an 11, 12, 13 for them.
I rolled an 8.
8. Okay, and that includes
9 total with that +1.
Okay, so 9. So they have what do you call it? While you were out, so while your brothers were out dealing with the bandits in the Brazilian forest, House Gradon actually has ratcheted up the tension through. You don't necessarily know this. This is just on the organizational level, hey, honey. You know that what's happened is basically the tension between the Dalish elves and your commoners has been skyrocketing. Your structure is a 4. I rolled 11 for my 11 plus their intrigue is a 14 minus your structure, so your stability is down from 35 to 25 because of the influence of this major house causing more problems between your commoners and the elves. So we're going to roll 1 more month's worth here. So that was, let's say, you just returned home, Brent, and you found this. This is the case. What time of year is it?
Let's go with summer, early summer.
Okay, so early summer, you've returned home. You find that, oh, this is great. And over the first month, you see your brothers have ridden out with their warhounds to go and deal with these bandits. And what you're hearing is that there are continuing troubles amongst the commoners and the elves. And actually, so on one of these outings, you hear that, and for one thing, the Dalish elves, the common sort of belief is that they are really dangerous. The Dalish can be lethal opponents for people who for humans. I mean, the elves were enslaved and their culture was exterminated by humans. Not surprisingly, that the Dalish who have chosen to relearn or re-embrace that culture, they have not been particularly happy about they're not happy to see humans living around. They want to kind of do their own thing, particularly given that the humans annihilated their culture twice. Nick, are you there?
Yep.
Okay, did you get the email I sent a little earlier tonight about the Dragon Age?
Nope.
Okay, check your inbox. There should be one that has. I'm not even sure if I named it anything. Let me make sure I actually sent it to you.
Is it? It's not GURPS then?
It's not GURPS. No.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, I would have sent it to you. It's emailing Dragon Age Pregens is the subject line. It was sent to you at 7:30 tonight.
Okay. Yep. There we go.
Okay. What I'm going to ask you to do is to open that up, and let's see here. So the character that you are going to play is actually, you know what? Fuck it. For the sake of ease, Nick, you are playing an Elven Rogue. You can choose this. So basically, what you anticipated you're going to play.
Okay.
Have you played any of the Dragon Age video games?
No, I never have.
Never have. Okay, so Dragon Age is it's a dark fantasy, very similar to like a lot of the D&D tropes, elves, dwarves, mages, stuff like that. They're all there, but through a much darker lens. The elves had their culture annihilated by humans centuries and centuries ago. They tried roughly about 4 centuries ago to try and rebuild their own life. and then that was also exterminated by humans. So elves, you aren't necessarily the child of slaves, but elves are the descendants of slaves. They were slaves in a place called the Tevinter Imperium for many, many centuries. You are a elf who grew up in a ghetto, basically an elven ghetto called an alienage. You are, let's see here. Do you have that character sheet there?
Like the one from GURPS or the one from?
No, the one for Dragon Age. In that, there's two things I sent you, two PDFs.
Yeah.
In that, okay.
What's this?
Now there's one that's called the Quick Start Rules. Open that one and turn to page 12. That's the only page you'll need out of that. The other one is the pre-generated characters.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to turn to the one that is the City Elf Rogue.
Okay, I got it.
Okay. Now what you'll need for tonight, Nick, is you'll need 3d6 with 1d6 that's a different color.
Okay.
Okay. The reason is when you roll, you're going to want to roll and add the dice together for all your trait tests. Higher is better. And anytime you roll doubles on any of the dice, you get what's called stunt points, and that's the different colored dice. The one that's different from the other two is your dragon dice. That tells you how many stunt points you have.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the character that you've got is a rogue. Dragon Age is a fairly easy to understand game. What you've got is your defense is what it needs to hit you. Your armor rating is how much you reduce the damage by. Health is your hit points. Your attributes are what you add to your dice roll. And then you'll see that there are things in brackets, like communication has deception. Those are called focuses or foci. You get to add +2 if you've got a focus that applies to the roll.
Okay.
Okay. And then you've also got an ability called Backstab. And if you give me a sec here, I'll tell you what Backstab does. I think it adds... okay, Backstab.
I also have Rogue Armor, I don't know.
What rogue armor means is you don't suffer any penalty when wearing leather armor.
Okay.
No dex penalty. Annie, hey! Come here. Annie! No! Fuck. Okay, so your backstab, if you move, you make a opposed test of your dexterity stealth versus their perception seeing. Hold on, I'm going to go beat my dog. Emmy! Hey! Come on. Come here. Knock it off. No one out there, Denny. He's barking at garage door opens again. Okay, so sorry, Nick. What I was saying is that basically you make a move action to move in. You roll Dex Stealth, which I think you got Stealth. Yep. Versus the target's perception seeing. If you win, then you can make a backstab as your attack. Backstab is +2 to hit, and you roll 1d6 extra damage.
Okay.
Okay, but you do need to move. You can't be starting next to the person. You need to sort of move in to do that.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. The only other thing I'm going to ask you to do is first. Elven names samples are Othras, Phalos, Harel, Lindel, Masarian, Nethras, Pelion, Raloth, Sorel, or Zathrian. Do any of those kind of jump out as sounding cool?
Nethras.
Nethras, okay. Now, one of the things that the reason I mentioned the sort of annihilation of Elven culture is because you'll note that you don't speak Elven. That's not uncommon for elves, particularly for city elves. Like city elves know human culture, and that they're on the outskirts of it. That's really it. They don't have any connection with the broader or the deeper like elvish culture, which this group called the Dalish elves they've tried to recapture. The Dalish elves are named for a lost homeland called the Dales. they've tried to readapt, but because so much of it was forgotten, your attitude, or maybe your attitude might be towards them that they're kind of trying to create, like make up the culture rather than rediscovering it.
Okay.
Okay, because there's so much of it has been lost. The only other thing I need you to think of is for Brent, Dave, you guys there?
Yeah.
Okay, can you give Nick suggestions on how his city elf could have come to work with House Oakhart?
Definitely for trading, we'd have as kind of a more of a rural fiefdom near the forest. He would have it would be very helpful to someone to link us to people to trade with in the city, as well as have a friendly face with some of the more with the Dalish elves as well, who we would also trade with.
City elf would not have any connection with Dalish elves.
Okay.
No, that is it's remember the city elves have no connection with elven culture whatsoever.
Well, definitely he would. I'd say he would have insights into city of who help facilitate trade deals and moving of like our lumber and whatever products we do, maybe finished wood products.
Now, Nick, you're a rogue class, but rogues sort of cover like the classes in Dragon Age. There's only 3 of them. There's mage, warrior, and rogue. It covers a pretty big area. What really kind of makes your character stand out is the talents you choose and the focuses that you have. You've got really deception is your only skill. What I'm going to suggest is actually you, for whatever reason, decided to leave and try to like pursue your, or sell your services as a sellsword. You're maybe a bit of a con man because you've got deception as well, but I'm going to suggest you've come to be an employee basically of House Oakhart.
Okay.
That sounds good. Okay. So you are so Nethris is also serving with Connor the Just. The 3 things you need to figure out is your goals. Now, one of the things, the neat ways that Dragon Age differs is that your goals are something that when you achieve the goals, you get actual tangible benefits from them in the game. So it's ways that you can kind of guide the campaign in a direction that sort of you want it to go towards. So your 3 goals can be short-term, long-term, or very long-term. The goals that the guys currently have are Connor wants to attain knighthood as a long-term goal. He wants to train under a master as a long-term goal. And he wants to prove himself worthy as a short-term goal, defeat a big monster. Alistair wants to seek autonomy from the Circle of Magi. Mages are controlled by this group called the Circle of Magi and looked over or watched by a group called the Templars. He wants autonomy from that as a long-term goal. He wants to study with the Great Master as a long-term goal. And as a short-term goal, he wants to get himself a Mabari Warhound, these big, fearsome dogs that populate. Ferelden is the region that we're playing in. It's a very common pet in this region. So your examples of goals, Nick, can be things like prove yourself worthy, discover your missing father, avenge your family, avenge your honor, attain great wealth, locate ancestral sword, slay the monster, make it up to them, learn forbidden magic, a good death, start a successful business, find my true love, achieve ultimate power, study with a great master, delve the deep roads, which are the sprawling underground passages that lay underneath Ferelden, get back my ship, find a home for my people, kill my brother, take control. What do you think? Do any of those? What are Nethris's goals, short-term and long-term?
I don't know. I don't really know. Does he have a backstory or anything?
What? Well, you tell me.
Okay.
I'll let you think about that while we get going. Maybe you can tell me what your goals would be once you've got them.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have page 12 of that?
Yeah, I'm on it now.
Okay, so pull that up because we'll need that once we get into combat.
Yeah, I got it up.
Oh, terrific. Okay. Okay, so guys, Brent, what's happened is, or maybe here you guys, Dave and Brent. Dave, or Brent, you've had a bunch of input into this. Dave, tell me how you think the family came to learn that House House Grey Dawn was behind this sort of ratcheting up of tension. You can involve your characters in this.
Okay, say again, Kev.
So I'm wondering how you discovered that House Grey Dawn, that rival house. They're the ones that plotted against you this month. How did you find out that they were behind this sort of this treachery? The ratcheting up of tension between the common folk of your region and the Dalish elves.
Well, I'm thinking.
Like maybe you were out as a response. Like a suggestion is maybe you and Nethris were accompanying Alistair out to to investigate yet another sort of like a bunch of cows were destroyed or a bunch of cattle were taken, and they're blaming the what do you call it, the Dalish elves for it, and maybe you guys found something to suggest that, look, this is not the way that the Dalish elves actually do things.
Yeah, that sounds fine. That sounds cool.
Dave, do you want to put a spin on that?
Yeah, then we'd be able to confirm that. And what, like,
Or maybe something like you got lost in the woods and they helped one of those types up to the 9 yards of voicing.
Now, this other house, Kev, are they recognizable? I mean, do they fly colors? Do they have a uniform? Are they?
They would have a sigil as well. The House Grey Dawn sigil is basically a stylized, faded, what do you call it? Faded yellow circle against a series of bluish gray kind of clouds above. That's House Grey Dawn's symbol. It could be that that you first off you discovered it was humans, which means that it's not the elves that are trying to cause this problem. It's someone else. One of the reasons why, well I'm going to say that House Grey Dawn is really the only major rival you've got in the region. And remember how I mentioned before that they have these lands meets where they sort of like the nobles rally for the taxes of the common folk.
Right.
This could be a way that they're weakening your position, like House Oakheart's position at the next lands meet. They could show up and say, like, look, you guys have done nothing to protect your people. Come and serve with House Grey Dawn. Pay your taxes and us. We'll keep you safe.
Well, I'm thinking that that Connor was able to identify at the scene a piece of clothing or something that was unique to House Grey Dawn that wouldn't have been mistakable for the Dalish at all. Awesome.
Okay, so in this scuffle, that was what do you call it? That sort of occurred in let's see here. This is the first time there was actually there's been a disappearance of some folks at a nearby farm. What you found in sort of the investigation there is you came across a dagger or a knife that is engraved with the silversmith's or the craftsman's mark of House Grey Dawn. Now, it's not necessarily enough proof to say that it is it's definitively their people going out and doing it, but in terms of the machinations between the noble houses, it's enough proof for you to know, like, yeah, they're the ones who are doing this. So we'll say you're actually heading back from that that discovery when we pick up our heroes. So the three of you, Alistair is traveling on his horse, which he only recently obtained as sort of a welcome home present, you guys, I'm guessing actually because your brothers, Brent, are off dealing with these the bandits, that's why you guys are tasked with this. You guys are coming back, riding back towards the seat of House Oakhart. What is the castle for House Oakhart called? Or the keep? Does it have a name?
It probably does. I'm just trying to figure out. Yeah, give me a second here. Where am I in the plains? Am I near a body of water? Is it just by the forest?
It's really just by the forest. Any body of water would be like a creek or a stream, or maybe a small, very very small lake. Nothing like massive. No thing that you're trading across.
Might I suggest Castle Grayskull?
You can't. It's going to be vetoed, but
Yeah, I kind of like.
Fine then.
Oh.
I had nothing. I have nothing.
Nick, do you have any
Yeah,
answers?
then we could have gone and enforced the will of Grayskull. By the power of Grayskull, I order.
No. That's exactly why it's being vetoed.
Oh, I see. So they can be a Grey Dawn, but there can be no Grey Skull? That's
No.
right.
Because Grey Dawn doesn't make me think of Orko. Nick, any suggestions?
What's the family called?
House Oakhart.
Okay.
Did you get a new camera, Nick? Because it's kind of sitting off to the side.
No, I'm on my phone.
Oh, okay.
It's just kind of just up at the ceiling or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. As you guys are riding back, pondering the name of your home, you are near. You're approaching a small town in your family's jurisdiction called Vintiver, or Vintiver, and as you're riding along, you notice out of sort of the the on the horizon that there are a series of black-winged carrion crows that are circling over one of the farms that you're going to be. This farm is maybe I think maybe 20 or 20-minute, half-an-hour ride into Vintiver. But you can see that there are a bunch of crows. Now you recognize that, having visited the last place or the last farm that you were at. This seems to have more circling it. What would you like to do?
Well, I think it'd be prudent to kind of branch off and investigate.
Okay. Now, sorry guys, give me a sec here. Okay. Okay. So as you guys are Brent, you're riding in, and Nethris and Connor, you are walking alongside. Can I ask each of you to make perception checks for me, please? And if you've got the focus for hearing or seeing, you can add that. And remember, when you roll, Nick, I didn't mention this to you. When you roll, look for doubles. If you roll doubles and you succeed, you get to add your stunt die. You get to gain stunt points to do cool stuff with it.
13 for Alistair.
Okay. What you do too is when you do your results, tell me if you get stunt die or if you get stunt points too. Just I won't ask. Otherwise, I'll assume you didn't roll doubles.
Okay.
Okay. Dave, how'd you do?
11.
11. Okay. And Nethros, how'd you do?
I got 7.
7. Okay. Is that adding your perception?
Oh, 10.
Got a perception plus 1. Okay.
So you don't get okay. So do you get an extra dice for that then, or just plus 1?
No, it just added to the result of the dice roll.
Okay, so 8 then.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. So as you guys are rolling in, Alistair, you're riding down the sort of the little road, dirt road that leads into this farm. You can hear the cawing of the birds overhead. You can hear the swaying of the summer wheat in the field, and you can hear, you think, something rustling in the alongside the wheat. The wheat is about, I'm going to say about maybe 10 yards from the road. As you're riding up towards the main home, this farm incidentally has. There's a farmhouse, there's a barn, and then there are a couple of other smaller houses attached further away on the property. But the main thing is the home, and that seems to be where the crows are circling over. As you're riding up towards it, Brent, you can see you do hear that there's something sort of stalking along in the high wheat next to you. What do you do?
Okay. I will look over to see if I can get a better idea of what's.
Okay. Why don't you make a roll for me? Again, another perception roll.
And this time I did crit, so I rolled double 4s.
Okay, so you stunned.
Okay, so I stunt, and my dragon dice was a 6.
Whoa! Awesome. Okay, here's one of the cool things: is that when you have contested rolls in this, the only thing you look at is what your dragon die is. So I stunted as well, but I rolled a 5 on my dragon die. You rolled a 6. So what you see is that there are 3. You see for just a split second 3 things that look like. At first, you think they're dogs, and then you realize that they're actually much larger, and the sort of opaque eyes that you can see as one of these things kind of stares or glares at you, I should say, makes you think that these are some kind of tainted canine. Would you please make a cunning arcane lore check for me, please?
$20 total.
Nice. Yeah, you know exactly. At a glance, you know exactly what this thing is. These are blight wolves. These are wolves, feral canines that have been tainted by the foul presence of the blight. Now, you also know that this is something that does unfortunately, run in the wild sometimes. It's unusual that it would be so bold as to strike so close. The 3 that you see may also be, if they're here, that may not bode well for the farmers within. It also means that if you've seen them, they're seconds away from attacking. What do you do?
Are the other two around?
Yeah, they're right next to you.
Okay. I shout a warning and go to cast a spell.
Okay. So guys, let's roll initiative. What's your warning?
Blight wolves. And I'll point.
Okay. So go ahead and roll initiative. It just add your roll your dice, add your dex, and then if you've got the initiative focus, you can add that to it as well.
Dex.
I'm just going to grab some more water, guys, while we're doing that. Hello. How you doing? Besides being in, how's it going? Okay. How'd you guys do? Oop.
14, and I stunted.
Oh, nice. Okay.
With a 3 on the dragon die.
I think I gotta invite Nick again. Hey, so 14 and you stunted. Brent, how'd you do?
I rolled an 8 and I did not stunt and I have no bonuses.
Okay. Where did my phone go here? Hey, there's Nick. Did we lose you?
Yeah, I've got kicked off a couple times again.
Okay.
Is there a way to turn off my video? Because that might be like lagging a bit.
I have no idea. I think you can at the top. Well, I mean, on a phone, I don't know. You can do that in. Yeah, you can turn the camera off on the computer version.
Yeah, you can on the. I just did it. So
Okay, perfect. How'd you do on initiative?
I got 6.
6. Okay. So order is going to be Connor, then Alistair, then the Blight Wolves, and then Nethris. Okay, Connor, what would you like to do? So Alistair just showed out Blight Wolves. Why don't you make a perception check for me, please? Let's see if you can see what he's screaming about.
$16.
16. Wow. Yeah. So you can see exactly what he's talking about. These things are about maybe about 4.5 feet tall at the shoulder, and there are 3 of them that are kind of getting ready to leap forth from the pale wheat. Their skin is it's gray fur with large patches of kind of tumorous, light grayish and pinkish flesh poking through. Their sickened yellow teeth and their white opaque eyes suggest that these are not natural creations. Okay, so for your turn, Dave, you can do 1 major and 1 minor action, or 2 minor actions. I think you've got the quick reference sheet there.
Yep.
So, what would you like to do? I'm assuming your 2-handed axe is out.
Well, actually, would it be possible to make a double attack? I guess not without stun points, eh?
Not without stun points, no.
Now, if I stunted on that that initiative roll, that doesn't actually.
Something about initiative, I don't think does anything. Let me double check that though. So I could be wrong. Yeah, there's nothing No, nothing that specifically comes from stunting on the. What I will say is that why not for your first round? I'll give you a +1 stunt point if you stunt again.
Okay.
Okay. So what would you like to do?
These
things are about 10 yards away.
I'll move in to close the gap between Alistair and Ethris and the Blight Wolves.
Okay. So that's a minor action. You still have a major action or another minor.
And then I will attack.
Okay. Oh, we lost Nick again. Okay, go ahead and make your attack roll. That'll be 3d6 plus your strength plus your axe's focus.
Holy shit! And I stunted on that.
Ooh. Dave did good.
Nice.
Yeah. So 16 plus
Nice. So
5. So 21.
holy shit. Okay, so yeah, you nailed this thing.
And I stunted on that too.
What's your dragon die?
5.
Yay! So +1 to your stunting, which means you got 6 stunt points to spend. What are you gonna do with your stunt points?
Can I make a dual attack?
Yes, you can. Well, dual attack is affects 2 different targets. Lightning attack makes a second attack against the same target. Which
Yeah, I'll make a dual attack. So because I mean the intention was to close the gap by moving forward with a minor move.
Yeah.
So I'd be within reach of at least 2 of them at once.
Awesome. Okay, so yes, you can definitely do that. Bam, bam. You also have 2 more stun points to spend.
It might be something you do extra damage.
You know what? I'll mighty blow on. I will blow mightily. No, that's not right either.
Take a mighty blow.
I will have a mighty suck. Wait, no, that's yeah. Can I make my next action? Add mighty blow to that.
Yeah, it will meet your next. So this one.
Oh, okay.
What you do is against that first one you hit, you'll do an extra d6 of damage, and then you'll do normal damage to the second one.
Okay.
Okay. So your damage with a 2-X is 3d6. So you're doing 4d6 plus 3 against the first, and 3d6 plus 3 against the second one. So go ahead and roll damage.
$16.
Holy shit.
And then 8 on the second.
8 on the second, okay. Still a very 16 actually. Oh fuck. Okay, so yeah, you sink your axe into the first one. It howls out in pain, and you're able to sort of carry the momentum through and whack a second one that's trying to pass by you. That's awesome. Okay, so next up is Alistair. What are you doing?
Did Dave manage to kill anything?
No, nothing. The one of them is really on like last legs. The other one was just kind of a clipping blow. Okay.
And for a question for you, for the walking bomb, right?
Yep.
The next round it would explode. I'm assuming it would hurt friends and foes nearby?
Yes, everyone within 4 yards of it.
Okay. I will not use that one.
Oh, shit, Brent, you actually have, sorry, there's one other default attack that mages have. Hold on here. Mages also have Arcane Lance. And what that is you make a magic Arcane Lance test. It has a range of 16, and it inflicts 1d6 plus your magic damage. Costs you no mana points to cast it.
Okay, and it does 1d6.
Yep, 1d6 plus your magic, so 1d6 plus 4.
Okay, hey, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and you don't. It's range and it's resolved like normal range attacks. You don't make a spell casting check for it, so you just and you can stunt normally with it.
Okay. Good to know. Okay, the one that's slightly injured, I will attack it with Stone Fist.
Okay, go ahead and make an attack roll. So it's your Stone Fist. It's your spell casting, so it's your magic and spell casting focus. So your magic versus a TN of 11. Tell me if you succeed.
All right, and
It's 14.
I rolled a 16, so I succeed. Is there a bonus for succeeding by a threshold amount or anything like that in this?
Nope. The only thing you worry about, the only time you use threshold is you, if you succeed, you add your dragon die. Compare dragon die.
Okay, I succeed.
16. Okay, so you succeed. It is I think it's 2d6 damage, isn't it?
1d6, and I knock it prone.
Oh yes. Okay. Awesome. So this what do you call it? Stone Fist hammers this thing. Is it the one that was on death's door?
No, the one that was slightly injured.
Slightly injured. Okay, so go ahead and roll damage, Brent. It's penetrating too. So
It takes 6 points.
6 points. Nice. Wham! You hammer this thing. Okay. I'll send an invite to Nick again. He's having some difficulty here.
One is almost dead, and the one that's in
it is the Blight Wolf's turn now. Dave, the one that is immediately in front of you, is going to try and mangle you. I rolled a 16 against your defense. So your defense is a 12. I hit you. No stud. You take 4 points of damage. That's 6 points of damage. Your armor rating is a 5, which means you take 6. I'm just going to tell you what the damage is. I'll let you do the math, but remember that your armor rating is a 5, so you're only effectively taking 1 point of damage.
Okay.
38 is down to 37. Okay. The second one that was hit with a Stone Fist is going to leap up and also try and take a bite out of you. It misses. And then the third is going to charge your horse, Brent. And it hits. Damage is... Oh, and I stunted as well, too. Oh, Brent, I need you to make a dex check for me, please. It's stunted, so it's doing the knockdown strike. It rips the legs out from underneath the horse.
I rolled a 12.
Awesome. Okay, so you managed to roll across the ground. You don't take any extra damage from the horse. Nethris is standing around stunned right now, I guess. Top of the round, Connor, what are you doing? You got one Blight Wolf that is mangling Alistair's horse, and you got the two that are in front of you.
In what condition are the two in front of me? I mean, is one are any of them incapacitated, or are they both possibly imminently going to attack?
One is barely standing still. Looks like one solid hit. It will take it down. The other one is about is not quite bloodied yet. Not quite half hit points, half health, I guess.
All right. Yeah, you know, I'll attempt to finish off the one that's on death's door.
Okay, go ahead and make a attack roll.
Gosh. 11.
11.
I rolled an 11. I believe that's +2.
Nope, it'll be +5.
+5.
Remember, because your strength is 3 and your focus in axes.
Right.
So 16, that is definitely a hit. Did you stunt?
No.
Okay, roll damage. It's a 3d6 +3.
Shit. 8.
Nice. This thing is dead. Yeah, your axe. What does it look like, Dave?
It's a double-headed forged axe.
Mm-hmm. So you bury that in its side. Okay. Alistair, what are you doing?
I'm pissed that my nice new horse is being chewed on. That wolf is going to get a firebolt.
Okay. Go ahead and make your spellcasting check.
As soon as Connor,
I fucking smoked that.
Nice.
I rolled 2 5s and a 6, and the 6 was on my stunt dice.
Oh, your dragon die. Nice.
Dragon
Okay.
dice.
So take a look at your spell stunts and tell me what you're spending those stunt points on.
Connor will yell out to Alistair and he'll say, "Watch the crop, Alistair."
Nice.
What's spell power do?
Spell power is basically what it's resisting against.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't resist anything, does it?
It does actually. For this one, it's a dexterity acrobatics check to reduce the damage to 1d6 plus 1.
Okay. Can I buy the same thing twice?
Only when it says multiple things. So like the what is it? Puissant casting or puissant casting is 1 to 3. Otherwise, you can only take any of the stunts once.
Okay.
So 6 points. What are you doing?
Okay, I will make it a mighty spell for 2 points.
Okay.
3 points for a mana shield for 5, and the 6th one I'll put it in puissant casting.
Cool.
So add one. To the
Awesome. Okay. So mark off your mana points again. That was 3 that time. I failed the resistance test, so it takes full damage. So 3d6 plus 1 penetrating. No, 3d6 plus 1 damage.
10 points.
Woo-hoo-hoo. So the one that is gnawing on the what do you call it? Oh, you know what, Brent? Remember that flame blast is 8 yards long and 2 yards wide. Are you gonna try and have you moved to try and catch just that thing?
Yes, I didn't realize that, so I would have done that. So I don't want to cook the horse.
No, and you don't want to set fire to the. So you, I guess Connor, you've seen this happen before. That's when you yell out "No, the crops!" and a gout of flame comes sailing out from your staff or your hand, and basically just follows along the road, catching this blight wolf in the way. Yeah. Okay. So that's it. It just catches the one. Okay. Then it is the blight wolf's turn. There are only 2 still standing. The one that was caught by the flame blast, it turns and charges you there, Alistair. But you've got that +2 to your defense this turn, so remember to add that. Oh, I didn't roll very well. I rolled 12 to hit.
Okay, defense.
Yeah.
We tied. I don't know if that's
So it does hit then.
Okay.
So this thing chomps down for 5 points of damage.
All
And
right.
then one with you, Dave. Does a 12 hit you?
One moment, please.
You?
Well, with my shield, it's a 14.
But you do not have your shield. You got your 2-handed axe out, right?
Righto.
Yeah. so
So
you're
it's just 12.
stunted. You take 5 points of damage, which I guess your armor absorbs. It yanks your legs out. Does a knockdown strike. So knocks you prone, and then does a lightning attack. Attacks you again at +1 to hit. Hits again, and you take 7 points of damage this time.
Right.
So 2 points from that thing. Okay. So that's it's now this massive wolf is just tearing away at you, and you've got your axe up trying to keep it out of the way. Okay, top of the round, Connor. What are you doing?
So this thing is right on top of me?
Yes.
Interesting. You know what? I'm gonna drop my axe.
Yep.
And I'm going to choke it to death.
Choke it to death. Okay.
Reach out with both hands. I'm just gonna essentially try to tear its head off its body.
Okay. So go ahead and make a. You are trained in brawling, so make a strength. It'll be your strength to hit.
Oh. Okay, I stunted on that on a 3 on my dragon die.
Yep.
And in total, 6, 11, 3 is 14.
14 is a hit. So you wrap your arms around this thing. What do you roll 3 stun points? What do you want to spend those on?
Pierce armor.
Okay.
And
you could use skirmish. You could like roll along with it. I'm not sure if you want to move it anywhere, but
I don't have enough for mighty blow, right?
no.
Yeah. So it's either rapid reload or skirmish.
That's right.
Yeah.
I don't think Rocket Blue is good.
Okay. So if that's it, then what you're his armor is halved against this attack. Go ahead and roll a 1d3. So just roll 1d6 and have it round up, and add 3 to it. Emmy, no.
3. So I rolled a 5, so that'd be 3 plus 3 is 6.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're choking on this thing. It's kind of struggling with you and snapping up at the air. Connor or Alistair, what are you doing?
I'm gonna repeat the firebolt thing.
Okay, go ahead and make your spell casting.
Okay. I did a 13, but the hell, it's not. What do you call it? It's not stunted, but
You stunted?
yeah, it is stunted. Yeah, but I only got 2 points this time.
Okay, so what do you spend those points on? That was success, and then what do you want to spend the points on?
Extra damage.
So mighty spell. Okay, so go ahead and roll damage. It failed. Its your spell power is 10 plus your magic, which is a 14. I failed my dexterity check, so go ahead.
15 points.
15 points. Okay, then that is wow, a lot. Okay, this thing is on its last legs, Brent. You scorched this thing. Okay, now it is their turn. The one that you scorched, Brent, it turns and goes limping off. It has had enough of you. It bounds off into the wheat. The one that is struggling with you, Dave, I need you to make a contested strength roll with it, please. Okay, I rolled a 14, 16.
Oh. 6, 14. 14, and I stunted for 4.
Okay, wait, 14 in total?
Well, I rolled 14, so
And then add your strength.
17.
17. So you win, and you stunted, which is, well, in this one, You know what I'll let you do is because you stunted, I will let you inflict that as damage on it. What'd you roll for your dragon die?
4.
4. Okay, so it. It's armor 3. Okay, so yeah, it takes as it's trying to struggle free, you kind of manage to get an even tighter grip on this thing, and you're pulling it back. Okay, top of the round, Connor, what are you gonna do? Continue your to strengthen your grip on it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's. I'm still gonna. I'm gonna try to finish what I started.
Sure. Make another strength check. I rolled a 11 in total.
5, 11, plus 3, 14.
14. Nice. Okay, so you win. Did you stunt?
No.
No. Okay, so just roll 1d3 damage and add 3.
Five.
5. Nice. So once again, this is you can feel its muscled neck and is kind of crunching in. Alistair, what are you doing?
I'm cognizant that the one fleeing me is in the fields, those flammable fields.
Yep.
So what I will do instead is use my arcane lance.
Okay. It will have a. Let's see here. I think it's going to have a bonus to its defense because it's going to be hard to see through all that stuff. Let's see here. I'll give you -3 to your roll, Brent.
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead and make an attack roll.
Ten.
How much?
Including the penalty.
Sorry, what was it?
10 including the penalty.
10 including the penalty. Okay, so you're trying to keep an eye out for this thing between the wheat, and you lance out with your arcane power, and you can't tell whether you hit it or not. But whatever, the form seems to still be moving.
Okay.
Okay, and then it is the Blight Wolf again. David's going to once again another contested strength roll, please. I rolled terrible. I rolled an 8 in total.
$15.
15. Okay, you win. What's your dragon dice?
Dragon dice is 4.
Did you stunt?
No, I didn't.
Didn't? Okay, so that's it. So it just doesn't get free. Connor, your turn. You want to choke him again?
Yeah, let's go for that.
Okay.
Gone.
I rolled a 13. Yeah, the other one is gone.
Holy shit. I rolled a 14 plus 3, 17. And 6 on the stunt die.
Whoa! Okay, I'm not going to bother going through the stunt stuff because this thing's just dead. With that good, you kind of and finally crack. There's a snapping as this thing goes back, and its head kind of falls limp to the side. Alistair, you look down and you see that Connor's just killed one of these things with his bare hands. I am going to rule that Alistair, you have just, or rather Connor, you've just proven yourself worthy. So one of your short-term goals has been achieved here.
Would have been so much more about the those that I am. What a rabid dog will do.
Well, if it's not, we can always take its pelt. Hey, Kev, are these something that we could take their pelts as trophies, or they're like gross and mutant?
Yeah, they're disgusting. This is not something you would want to keep with you. Also, the blight is kind of like the taint in Forgotten Realms, or Forgotten Realms in Five Rings.
Oh, okay. So we don't want the cooties.
Yeah.
Which I probably have all over me anyways.
John, get it off. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to give you, Dave, since you've reached that goal, you have a +1 to communication checks for anyone who is aware of your deed.
All right. Well, Alistair, I'll need you to be telling as many people as you can about this.
We don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So that those things are having been defeated. You now kind of look around and you see that the crows are still circling overhead.
Hold my horse.
Your horse is injured, but still still rideable. It was more startled than it was injured by the blight wolf.
Kev, if Alistair's horse got bit, would it be? I mean, would it have been infected or?
It's possible. Yeah. The
guy was grappling with one and was like bit by one.
Yeah. Actually, Brent, why don't you make an arcane lore check for me? Cunning arcane lore.
I'm assuming Nick has left us for good, Kev.
I think so. I haven't heard back from him. I kept sending invites, so I think he's having technical issues.
Yes.
I stunted and I got a 20 total, and my stunt dice was 3.
Okay, yeah. So you know that generally speaking, this it is creatures that specifically sort of spread the blight that do that. So simply fighting a creature of the blight doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be infected by it. It's specific creatures that sort of spread that. If you ate the meat of this thing, or if you say skinned it and spent a lot of time exposed to its tainted innards, that may cause you to run the risk of blight infection. Okay, Emmy's up to something that generally means trouble. What you got there? Got your ball? Hey? Okay, so I'm just quickly looking to see about what you guys can do is you can take a 5-minute breather after a combat encounter, which allows you to catch your breath, tend to minor wounds. You gain back 5 plus your constitution plus your level in health.
Oh, wow.
What about magic points?
You need to rest for an hour. Each hour rested gives you 1d6 plus your magic back in mana.
Yeah.
You also have, Brent, a lyrium potion, which you can consume to gain magic points back. It's basically a elixir distilled from the magical rock mined from deep beneath the earth. And each of those, I can give me a second. I'll tell you how much it trades back.
You might want to save that for.
Yeah, maybe.
There are also grenades and stuff in this too, guys. So
Grenade? You said?
Chemical grenades and poisons as well. Like the rules for crafting poisons and crafting grenades are pretty fucking good in the game as well. So I'm trying to find where the heck the potion is.
What do you make number?
Same thing. Tea, and I dumped all the old leaves in my boiled water, so I had to. Feel free to offer yourself, David.
Absolutely. I think it's about 4 liters of tea that I've had so far.
All right. But if you want scotch or whatever, just ignore everything and help yourself.
Thank you.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to look it up in the index. Okay, so what you do see before you is the semi-abandoned farm, or seemingly abandoned farm, with the crows sort of circling overhead as well. Okay, so
Time for an investigation.
Yeah, Brent, your lyrium potion, it restores 1d6 plus your magic in mana.
Okay.
Okay, so what would you guys like to do?
Well, let's go see what's left of the farmstead.
Okay, so you go stalking, oh boy, towards the farmstead. Would you... actually, you know what I'm going to do? Could you make a... Let's see here. You know what, Brent, just roll... Brent and Dave, both of you roll 3d6 and tell me if you stunt.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm just grabbing a beverage.
Sure.
There'll be no stunting for I, sir.
Okay.
Actually, Dave, do you want to just roll 3 dice for me?
Sure. After that roll, you sure you want me to? Oh, well, shit. Brent actually did.
Nice. Brent, you know this family, it turns out. You can tell me how Alistair knows them, but this is actually the Folder farm. The Folder farm, you know, is a family of Edred Folder and his wife, Mirren, and their 4 children, Han, Brella, Boren, and Quint. It's been years since you've seen them, and I think that the youngest was around 3 at the time that you saw him, probably 10 years ago.
Okay. When I was a child, I was one of the younger children in the family, and most of my brothers were bigger and more physical than me. Mm-hmm. And I was sort of like the kind of runt of the litter, or more picked on than the others, or by the others because I was weak. So sometimes they'd go hunting and abandon me, or they try and, you know, or we'd go off into the woods and they try to leave me behind. And once when I was left behind, I ran into this family because we're near their farm, and they were very kind and look after me and fed me. And then I would sneak off once in a while and purposely get lost just to hang out with their kids.
I love it. Okay, yeah. So you know these, or you at least remember these people. You just hadn't, I guess it hadn't thought to. There were so many other things on the go when you got home that you hadn't think to revisit the Folders. That's great too, Brent. That's terrific role-playing stuff, role-playing background material. I'm also thinking, you know what, guys, is you're, for the hell of it, you're level 2 now.
What?
What we're going to say is, Brent, now normally, obviously, you would be able to, what you get at level 2, Brent, is you get a new spell. Just for the sake of ease, I'm going to give you flaming weapons.
What?
Flaming weapons.
Okay.
What it does is the melee weapons of allies within 10 yards of you burst into flame and do 1d6 extra damage.
Okay.
It costs you 6 mana points and has a target number of 15.
Okay.
Okay. Dave.
Yes.
You gain new focus. The focus is either in cunning military lore, dexterity riding, or strength climbing.
Could you repeat that, those, Kev?
Cunning military lore, dexterity riding, or strength climbing.
It is.
Cunning military lore is used in mass battles, I will mention.
It's a toss-up between cunning and riding.
Oh yeah, that is. Which do you think? Well, if Connor's in fairness, if Connor's working towards being a knight rather than like a general, maybe riding is the more the thing he would want to be working towards.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Okay. Okay, and then in addition, you guys each roll 1d6 and add your constitution. You gain that in health.
What's my constitution? I rolled a 5 and my constitution.
So that's 7 for me, Kev.
7. Okay, so you got 45 health now.
And 6 for Alistair.
So you're at 36 health. Brent, you gain 1d6 plus your magic in mana.
7 points.
Nice. Let's see, your mana is
27.
7. Awesome. Let's see here. You also can raise one of your abilities by 1. That's one of your primary abilities. So, Dave, your Constitution, your Dex, or your Strength can go up by 1.
We'll go Strength.
Strength, awesome. Okay, so remember that your bonus to hit goes up by 1, and your damage goes up by 1. And Brent, you can raise your Cunning, your Magic, or your Willpower.
Magic.
Magic, okay. Kill Surprise.
So does that give me an extra point of mana then? 'Cause it was magic.
Magic by 1. Actually, it gives you 2 extra points because you gain your magic at first level as well. So you're at 29.
Okay. Hey, Kev.
Yeah.
About the spell, would not healing be a more useful spell since none of our party has healing?
Yeah, if you like, sure. Hold up. Let me tell you how it works.
I was thinking because we technically don't have like a cleric type, and there's no cleric.
There's no cleric type in the game actually. So yeah, okay. So heal, Brent, it costs 1 to 3 mana points.
Okay.
TN is a 10. For each mana point you spend, the target heals 1d6 health.
Or you're taking that instead of flaming weapons?
Yeah.
Oh, Brent.
Okay. And then you also, guys, get a new focus. Okay, so, and it's got to come from your primary abilities. So let me give you some options here.
We'll get that next time. It's better to be.
And remember that when you choose your focus, it means you get to add +2 to your roll using that. Okay, so Dave, your focus has to come from Constitution, Dex, and Strength. These include, Constitution are things like drinking, rowing, running, stamina, and swimming. Strength are things like axes, bludgeons, climbing, driving, heavy blades, intimidation, jumping, lances, might, pole arms, smithing, and spears. And your Dex ones are acrobatics, bows, brawling, calligraphy, crafting, dueling, grenades, initiative, legerdemain, which is like sleight of hand, light blades, lock picking, riding, staves, stealth, and traps. You're going to pick one of those focuses for one of those 3 abilities.
And I already have riding, you said, right? That was
That's right, yeah.
Your theme was a knight?
Yeah.
Yeah. How about acrobatics?
Yep. That's actually used to avoid a lot of like area effects for spells. So it actually might be a really good one. Okay. So acrobatics, that's on dexterity. And then Brent, yours has to come from, let's see here. I think I might know which one this is going to go towards.
Magic.
So right, yeah, your magic focuses, Brent, are Arcane Lance, Blood Magic, Creation Magic, Entropy, Primal, or Spirit. Primal is what most of your spells are.
Okay. And what are the cunning ones?
The cunning ones are Arcane Lore, Brewing, Cartography, Cryptography, Cultural Lore, Enchantment, Engineering, Evaluation, Healing, Heraldry, Historical Lore, Military Lore, Musical Lore, Nature Lore, Navigation, Poison Lore, Research, Religious Lore, or Writing.
Okay. Do I have a third attribute or just those 2?
Yeah. No, Cunning, Magic, or Willpower. Willpower ones are Courage, Faith, Morale, and Self-Discipline.
Courage, I guess, would be like for fear tests.
That's right. Yeah.
Self-discipline would be, I'm not mechanically sure.
Controlling impulses or emotions. If someone's trying to seduce you, if someone's trying to incite you into rage.
Okay. That makes sense. And which of my spells are primal?
Everything except for healing.
Oh. Well, I guess that would make sense to get the +2 in.
Yep. Okay. Okay. So you guys are level 2.
Nice. So I've got +7 with those spells now.
That's right. Yeah. The other neat thing is as you gain levels too, certain, depending on your levels and depending on your talents you choose, certain of your stunt points can get cheaper. So you can get things like, Mighty Blow can become cheaper.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And you ever get focuses for secondary attributes?
You mean like for your hit points?
No, like for say I wanted to get like a focus with animal handling or something like that.
Focus animal handling is it's actually I think it's with communication. I think that is a focus. Yeah, you do. What it is you every even level you raise one of your primary abilities and one of the focuses for your primary abilities. Every odd level you do it on one of your other ones.
Cool. So like next level, I take animal handling and then try and work that into the doggy thing.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can add, let's say, +1 to your communication.
Right.
Like communication, constitution, dexterity, perception, or strength. And then as you gain, once you hit level 5, or once you hit 5 in an attribute, it then takes 2 advancements to raise it by 1. So, once you reach 5, then you would have to make basically 3 levels before you could raise another attribute. Before you could raise that attribute up by 1 more.
Cool. So it's sort of the same idea for progression as in Iron Kingdoms. You move quickly at first and then start slowing down.
Exactly, and you can focus on one area, but it's at a slowed advance, or you can spread it around and become a much more versatile character. But then you're not getting that big bonus.
Right.
Okay. Okay. So anyway, you guys are investigating the farm. So as you head up, and it's the folder farm. Why don't you make perception smelling checks for me, please? I'm not sure if either of you have a focus in smelling, but.
Well, Alistair definitely smells, so.
Mm.
I stunted and I rolled a 12 total, and I stunted, and my dragon dice was 3.
Okay.
And no focus for smelling.
No focus for smelling. Okay. So here. They don't have there's a optional stunts for role playing and for exploring, which are actually pretty fucking cool. That I would like to use. Where are we here? Sorry, guys. I'm sure terribly exciting for you to watch me flip through books. There we go. Okay. What was your stunt points, Brent?
3.
3. Okay, actually, what I'm going to allow, Brent, is you get a stunt called That Makes Me Wonder. Make another perception test that costs you no extra time.
$12.
Awesome. Okay, so what you, as you're walking up, you stop and you there's a smell that definitely brings you back. And what it brings you back to is your training at the Circle Tower. One of the things that you have to go through as a mage to become an actual member of the Circle, at some point, the members of the senior mages in the Circle will come and approach you, and they will tell you that your time has come for, I believe it's called, hold on. There's a cool name for it, so I don't want to fuck it up. The Harrowing. What the Harrowing is the sort of version of astral space in Dragon's Age is this place called the Fade, which is much more dangerous and
Yeah, I know because when I played the wizard character in the first Dragon Age, I had to do it.
Okay, so what you had to do is you recall having to go through the Harrowing, and what you remember from your harrowing is when you walked in is the smell. Well, the smell was the smell of recently dried blood. And you know that when you go through the harrowing and you contact the Fade and you deal with a demon from the Fade and have to confront it and defeat it in order to prove your worthiness, that you have the necessary self-control to become a mage, and not be murdered by the Templar who is standing behind you as you go through that. Hey, no, you do not eat that. No, we don't eat pillows. Nope. No, go get your bone. Go get your bone.
I did the same thing to my daughter, except instead of pillows, it's rocks.
Oh. So yeah, what you recognize is that smell, and that's exactly the same smell that you smell in here. Is this recently dried blood somewhere? Well, what you smelled was the stain in the floor when you were going through your harrowing. So, what do you say? Anything? And that's as you're approaching the door. The horse kind of, kind of steps back and forth, or steps in place a little uneasily.
I'll dismount and say it smells like blood, and I'll put my hand on my horse to like calm the horse.
Okay.
I'll turn to Alistair and say, we smell like blood.
No, it's different. It's like dried blood. It's
Yep. Still us.
no, it's not that. It's from in there. It's different. Trust me.
Okay.
Oh. I'll take out my staff and I'll go to open the door.
Okay. You go up towards this door that you've seen so many times before and entered so many times happily in your youth, and you push the door open, and you see on the ground, you recognize the maybe the dress or the pattern. Much of the interior here is familiar to you. It brings back a flood of memories, but those memories are tainted by the scene of horror that you come across. Blood spatters the room. There are four forms sitting in here, torn apart and bloodied. They match the one, obviously, you recognize as Mirren. Her face ashen white, drained of blood, which lies pooled and caked and dried around her. And near her, sprawled across the floor, are three of the children. You are forced to look away, and you can see smeared on the wall is a word written, and the word is in Elvish script. Can you guys both make a cunning cultural lore check for me, please? See if you recognize this.
Dude. Oh.
15.
Okay. Alistair, you recognize this name. You don't speak or really read Elven, but what you see is this is the word Mythal, and that is the name of the forgotten elven god of vengeance. What do you guys want to do?
I will vomit.
Yeah.
And I'm not quite sure the funeral rites for the setting. If it's appropriate, I will insist that we bury them in their farmstead, or if there's like a proper graveyard, I'll insist that we hook my horse to a wagon and take the bodies for another, like that type of burial, whatever.
There's probably a place on the premises. This is the type of family that would like own this. They own their property, so they would own it for generations. Likely, there probably is a place to bury them. When you look at the bodies, you rolled so well on that earlier roll for Blight Wolves. One of the things you notice is that there is no sign that the Blight Wolves made their way in here. There's no broken door. There's no what do you call it? There's no the bite and claw marks on these things are not consistent with the amount of damage that the Blight Wolves' teeth would do. whatever killed Mirren and her children, and that it's Han, Brella, and Boren. You don't know where Quint is, and you don't Edred, the father, his body and Quint's body is not in the homestead. But they were not, these 3 or 4 in total were not killed by blight wolves. Now, as you sort of once you sort of recover, I should ask actually, Connor, what are you doing during this?
Well, after seeing Alistair's face, I'll put my hand on his shoulder and I'll say to him, "Why don't you tend to your horse? I'll tend to their burials. I'll call you when it's done so you can say your final words."
I'll help. They were friends. They were good people.
Well, it's easy to tell by the look on your face. Are they all here, Alistair?
No, the husband's missing, and his youngest child,
Eldest.
and the eldest.
Why don't you both make perception checks for me, please? Perception seeing.
$16.
Okay. You can see off in the field. Sorry, Dave, how did you do?
Actually, I got a 19 with a 4 dragon die.
Oh, sweet. Okay, so 4.
What was that figure? It's such a part.
Okay, resources at hand. Because of that awesome stunt, Dave, for the rest of the scene, you get to choose a focus for perception. You can choose seeing or hearing or smelling. Will have that focus for the rest of the encounter.
We'll go with seeing.
Seeing. Okay, cool. So remember that you get that for the rest of the encounter because your stunt die. Okay, so you actually notice, Connor, that the birds that are circling seem to be circling in a number of specific kind of locations. There are let me see here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Basically, once you sort of follow them, you find that there are 6 other bodies. Wait, no, hold on. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, yeah. There are another 6 bodies in the field that seem to correspond to then they're exactly the same wounds that the bodies inside have suffered. And you can recognize Brent or Alistair. You recognize Edred, the patriarch of the Folder family, who you assume is one. There's 3 young men. One of them you're assuming is Quint, the eldest son, and the other 2 you don't know who they are. And then there is the body of another woman and an infant as well. So you managed to sort of identify those in the fields while simultaneously keeping an eye out, I guess, for the blight wolves. Brent, with your amazing role from before, you're actually thinking now that you know the blight wolves are opportunity predators, so they may have just been here to scavenge off of what was left from whatever happened here.
Okay, that makes sense. It also seems probably weird to me. Like, it doesn't make sense that elves would have done it. It seems weird that elves would attack peasants, and then even attacking peasants, not just kill them, but drain them of blood.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you know that the Dalish elves. I mean, they can be defend their areas with lethal intent. It's unusual that they would go to this extreme, but you know, with how what you're aware of is that in the last month there's been increasing agitation on the part of the people, the common folk of your areas, it dawns on you now that, like, geez, you have no idea what's being done to the Dalish elves.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming this one would work for them. Would I be aware of any creature that would drain people's blood?
There's, blood mages, perhaps, would be. These are sorcerers who use, like I said, the blood of others to sort of fuel their unholy abilities. Cults dedicated to the blight, just general, terror, like someone seeking to do some kind of terror activity, like a mundane thing, or some kind of abomination, which is when a demon from the Fade infects a corporeal being, often a mage, but not necessarily restricted to that. Plus any number of hideous, violent creatures of the blight. It's a pretty long list of things that could do this kind of thing. What you are certain of is that what was done to these, it's not beyond the capability of a blight wolf, and a blight wolf certainly wouldn't write something in reference to an elven god of vengeance.
I'll say to Alistair, I know that you had mentioned 2 others missing, but do you recognize all the additional bodies?
I recognize them missing too. I don't know who the others are. It's been a long time I'm here. Perhaps it was, I don't know, my friend's wife and daughter. It's been 10 years since I've been here.
Any indication, Kev, who the extra 5 might be?
Well, I mean, the extra 5 could easily be the size of the Folder farm, could be farmhands. And Brent, you're right. The eldest, Quint was, how old is your character anyway?
We'll say 19.
Okay, so you would have gone away when you were 9. Quint would have been a year older than you. It's easily conceivable this could have been his wife, or perhaps the wife of one of the farmhands. But
actually, I'm gonna up my character's age a bit, because I'm thinking if he went away to the tower, maybe they've taken him around the age of 12. That seems a bit more appropriate. So I'd say he's 22. Okay,
so Quint would have been 2 years younger than you, but it's absolutely conceivable that that Quint could have been married by this point. Your brothers were all married by this point. It's only by virtue of you being, a mage away is the reason you haven't been married off. So yeah, the way that the 2 other corpses are dressed too are more. Oh, I guess they're all kind of dressed similarly, but it's likely that the other 2 unknown people who don't look like part of the family, they're probably hired hands.
I'll say to Alistair, does this smell like the work of Graydon to you as well?
No, this doesn't look like the work of elves. It could be cults. It could be demons.
Would Graydon have any mages that would be that would have this power?
It's not that much power. I mean, they're all unarmed peasants, right? And their blood was drained. But was anything taken? Does it look like any possessions or money or anything was taken?
Well, you look around the home. Remember, there's the home. There's a couple other smaller houses on the property, and then there's also the barn. In the home itself, it doesn't appear that anything was taken. The doors are broken in by forceful blows. The floors and the earth are sticky with blood, but apart from that, there's nothing taken from the main house.
When you say sticky with blood, any footprints in the blood?
There are not, no.
Okay. What about the barn?
Well, if you guys walk up towards the barn, you can hear the sounds of animals inside. Not in distress, just the sort of the normal sounds you would hear of animals as you approach.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense then. Well, I'll go and check just to make sure the animals are there.
Sure.
But
Connor, are you going with him?
You know what? I'll start on digging the graves.
Actually, so you will need to go to the barn to get the tools necessary for doing that.
Okay. Well, then off I go.
So you guys head up to the barn, and I'd like you to both make perception scene checks for me, please.
10 for me.
Okay. Remember, Dave, you got the focus for the rest of the scene.
Which gives you +2.
So that's 15 plus that's 3 on my dragon die.
Nice. Okay. So you. Yeah. You're going to get +1 to any further perception checks against what I'm about to describe to you. Well, as you guys step in there, Alistair, you're sort of looking at the animals and seeing like there's a horse in there, still like a field horse. There's maybe some other like fowl or chickens kind of running around in the barn. Nothing appears to have been disturbed or injured or in any way. Connor, you're looking around for just a spade to start digging these graves. We notice that some of the hay piled in the corner of one, it sort of rustles and moves. The hay is piled up in sort of a corner in the barn. And this is not something that would have been disturbed by anything other than something that's underneath there.
I'll whisper to Alistair and just kind of motion him to the moving haystack.
Okay. Alistair will walk over and prod the hay with his staff.
Okay. So you go over and you prod it with your staff, and something sort of slowly moves out from it. And what it is a dark-haired elven woman dressed in Dalish clothing. She moves at basically sort of falls out of the hay and begins to sort of feebly crawl along on her hands and knees. You can see that Dave, Connor, you notice that like she is not at full hale and hearty health. And you notice, because of your incredible roll from before, you notice that in her right side there are 3 vicious gashes that have been clawed across, and that seemed to be the source of her trouble. She seems pale and pasty, and you can see that there is. That the wounds that she's suffered are consistent with the ones that killed the Falder family.
Okay.
Dave, would you make one more perception check for me, please? And you get the +1 and the focus bonus for this one.
Oh, shit. 18 and 3 on the dragon die.
Okay. Oh, fuck. That's awesome. Okay. So you see that she has a leather pouch at her waist, and the late day sun that's shining in through the open door, it catches on something silver and brilliant within the pouch, something quite large. What are you guys doing? As she's sort of muttering and trying to feebly crawl. She only gets about maybe 1.5 feet away from the hay until she collapses down unconscious. Possibly.
I'll let Alistair. I'll say to Alistair, if you don't do something about this, she won't be with us for much longer.
Okay, I'll go and heal her then.
Okay. Why don't you? You're going to cast your spell on her?
Yeah.
Okay. How many? Have you been keeping track of how much mana you've been blowing through?
Yes. I blew through 10 points, so I have 19 left.
Okay, great. Okay, so go ahead and make a healing check.
Before Alistair does that, Kev, I'm going to relieve her of whatever, of the entire pouch.
Okay, so you go over there, it's kind of unlatching this thing. You can see that it is like a hand-stitched leather what do you call it? Leather waist thing that's in the Dalish design style. I just gotta take a piss, guys. I'll be right back.
I like it. My only again, those guys are mad. I wonder if they're like broken because I roll. You know, I normally roll really shitty. These are my IK dice. And I roll exceptionally well with them. That's what I'm like. They're hand carved. So I'm like maybe they're not weighted properly. You know, like they're not.
Or they're imbued with magic. Like, these are the sickest you roll.
I know. I've got them. He thinks he rolls pretty well with them too, but they're like, I don't know if they're just, they're imbued with magic or you roll fucking awesome.
Well, it's not just you, obviously.
Yeah, so I wonder if they're just like the weight is off slightly or.
Okay, sorry, guys.
All good.
Okay, how do we do?
Dave rolled insane, and I am going to heal.
Okay.
I rolled a 20 for healing, which is my TN of 10 by a lot.
Okay.
And I will do it for 3 points. So she regains 7 back.
7. Okay, nice. So you've stabilized her, and she's a little, some color returns to her, her face. Dave, what you've pulled out from the pouch is a heavy link that is forged out of silver, and that is about the size of a man's hand. And this thing appears like it has been twisted or broken by some great force. You can also notice that stitched into the side of this silver thing, it's heavy as well too, and it's tough. It doesn't feel like ornamental silver. There are some etchings that Alistair, you recognize as being magical.
Can I try and decipher it?
Sure. What you get it, and what I'd actually like you to do, Brian, is make a magic check for me, please.
Oh, awesome! I've rolled 3 4s. Huh. So 17 total.
Okay.
And 4 for my dragon dice.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to bank that for you, so there's something that will help you down the road with that success.
Okay.
Remind me later if I don't remember.
In regards to what I'm doing now?
Yes, in regard to what you just learned from this. So what you've done is basically you've sort of reached out to a sense what is going on with this. At the same time as you're studying you take it in your hand and you immediately notice that there is some magical aura or residue to this, and once you sort of sense it, you can feel that there was an enormous amount of power in this at some point, but it's only the flickering embers that remain in this thing, whatever it was before. Would you make a cunning arcane lore check for me, please? You tell Connor this as well, Brent?
Yeah.
Alistair, do you think that this device could have possibly have held a demon?
I rolled a total of a 13, and I got doubles, so and my dragon dice is a 4.
Okay. And what was the total, Brent? Sorry.
12.
12. Okay. So
Oh,
what?
wait, no, 4, 13.
13. Okay. So what this the etchings that are on the side of this, they appear consistent with binding magics that would have been used to trap things from the Fade, like demons from the Fade. You don't know anything beyond.
At some point, it must have bound something powerful. I'll explain this to you as well. I'll say this all out loud as I'm like learning. So it's so it could have held a demon at once, and now it's not powerful, and the demon escapes.
Okay.
Or I'm just speculating that part, but it's some kind of object or phylactery used for binding a creature from the Fade, but now it's weak.
Okay. The apart from the pouch on her, there doesn't, and the obvious Dalish nature of her clothing, there doesn't appear to be any other identification or really any other belongings on her. However she made her way to here, she came with just that pouch and that broken silver link. She's unconscious incidentally still as well. What are you guys going to do?
Alistair, we need to get her to talk. Otherwise, A, she'll have to be brought in, and if that's the case, she'll hang for this. And if we can't get her to talk, based on what you've said, there's probably going to be more of these bodies littering the countryside if we can't find whatever it is that was released from this link.
All right. So you maybe here. I'll try another healing spell on her.
Okay. Go ahead, Brent.
Okay. So
What do you think?
maybe just some hot water. I'm starting to get teed out. So I made the healing test, and she regains. Oh, I critted on. Does it matter on the actual roll, like the?
Yeah, it's no place because remember what you can do. One of your spell stunts can be to reduce the cost of your spell.
But I stunted on the number of damage points healed.
No. That's you never only on your resolution dice.
Okay, so then she just heals 14 points of damage.
Nice. Okay, great. So she is, she's even more sort of color returns to her face, but unfortunately, she still doesn't regain consciousness. Would you guys both make perception checks for me, please?
Uh, 14, I stunted, but with only 1 point on the stunt die. Oh, wait. No, hang on. Sorry, it was 6 points on the stunt die. I actually did really good.
6 point. Oh, nice. Okay. Dave, how'd you do?
Not quite there yet. Just give me a second.
Oh, sorry.
We're drinking shitloads of tea for some reason tonight.
No problem.
It goes good with amaretto and Dranbuie.
Oh.
Or Dranmonnier.
I'm totally gonna wet Brent's bed tonight.
Ew.
17, Kev.
17. Oh, sorry, guys. I'm interrupted by the dog. Okay, so both of you guys hear the sounds of people talking from somewhere outside. You're sort of, you finish casting your second spell, Brent. You guys have talked a little bit about the link, and you hear the sound of voices carried in on the wind.
Do they sound like in a familiar language or like?
It's in the trade tongue, and it's there's no accent to them that you can tell. And what they're saying is, "You check over there, check in the fields. You, Anders, go up by the barn.
Go to the.
Alistair, I'll get rid of her. You get rid of them. Because you'd be known and have
Right.
pull if I go out there.
Right.
They won't.
Okay. Sounds good. So I will head out of the barn and then I'll let you fight her in the hay or something, or whatever.
Okay.
He's conscious now, though, right, Kev?
No.
She's not conscious. No.
He's not. Okay.
And then I just look at her.
What you see, so Alistair, as soon as you step out of the barn, what you see is that there are a number of basically what look like sort of commoners or tradesmen who are sort of spreading out. There's a group of about maybe 8 of them that are spreading out amongst the fields, and there's 2 guys who are heading up towards the barn with kind of improvised kind of cudgels in their hands.
Okay. When I leave the barn, I'll have a shovel in each of my hand.
Okay. So you stop, grab those things. Well, where's your staff going then?
I'll just lean it against the wall when I grab the shovels and leave it in the barn.
You grab the 2 shovels and you step out, and the 2 men at first kind of like, raise their clubs up in kind of alarm. What do you say?
I'll look at them and go, would they recognize me because I'm from the Lord?
You've been gone a long time.
Greetings. I'm Alistair Oakhart.
Okay. You know what you've got, Brent? Okay, so why don't you make a communication etiquette check for me?
Open with bow before me.
15.
15. Okay, nice. Okay, so the 2 men kind of look up at you and say, their cudgels come down a bit, and they say, "Sir, is that little Alistair? Is that you?"
Yeah. Although I don't feel so little anymore.
No. What are you doing here?
I came across dusk wolves near here.
Blight wolves.
Blight wolves. Wrong game. And then drove them off. And I noticed birds circling above the farmstead. And I what's the family name?
The Folders.
I know the Folders from my childhood. So I came over here, and unfortunately, I've only found their corpses. I've moved them over to the graveyard, and I was just going to start in the graves.
Okay.
Perhaps assist me.
Connor, what are you doing while this is happening?
I'm gonna find a hiding spot for. Is there a pit or a holding area underneath the floor of the barn, or
Yeah, I'll say there's
or second floor, a loft to the barn,
there's a loft. Absolutely.
You gonna make out with her?
perhaps. She is unconscious after all.
Sex for Dave.
Good Lord, why is this being taped? Okay, so what are the possible hiding spots, Kev?
Well, there's, like I said, there's a loft in the barn. There's stalls for at least 2 horses, one of which is occupied right now. There's the hay that she was hidden under before, and there's probably a cellar to the barn as well.
You know what? Let's go with cellar. Yeah.
Okay, so are you bringing her down there and hiding down here with her?
No, come back. I would say just put her down there and then come out so we can both talk to her.
Yeah, then I'll leave her there and put things, make things as inconspicuous as possible. Cover it up, back up with hay, make it look like nothing was disturbed in here, and I'll walk out with any additional shovels that may be left.
Would Dave's character, Connor, would he be sort of like an apprentice Templar since he's been like with me, or
Would he be an apprentice?
like Templar, like the the people who are supposed to execute the mages if they follow the line?
No. Templars are that. Okay, mechanically speaking, that's a specialization that he can take at level 5, but you have to get that training through the Chantry.
Right, but I'm just trying. Wouldn't it be weird for me to be away from the circle without someone watching over me?
Not necessarily. No, you don't have to have a Templar escort, ready to cut you down at any moment, anytime you're free.
Oh, I actually, that's how I thought it was.
No. It's not. That's how Templars would like it to be, I imagine. But no, not necessarily. I mean, you don't have to. It's assumed that because you've gone through the harrowing, like you have to do that during the harrowing, and there's always a contingent of Templar living in the Circle Tower to avoid it, to deal with those kind of threats if they come up. But once you've gone through the harrowing, the purpose of that is to show that you are strong enough of will to avoid the corruption by a demon from the Fade.
Okay.
Yeah, so you sort of by becoming a member of the Circle, you've shown that you can't you can defeat that temptation or resist that temptation. So yeah, you don't have to.
Okay, I always thought it was that. Okay, I really interpreted it differently. That's part of the autonomy thing, because I totally thought circle mages were always like sort of prisoners, but like a pretty prison, but like.
I mean, they're feared. Ferelden does not care for mages, kind of in general. There's all sorts of the abominations, the blood mages, the renegade actions of apostates. They all just, and the fact that the Tevinter Imperium, that massive empire to the north that invaded Ferelden years and years and years ago, like centuries ago, they're ruled by mages. So there's all sorts of bad associations with mages. Plus, every time you cast a spell, if you I can't remember what misfire is. If you basically roll all 3s or all 1s, you can potentially be possessed. All sorts of bad shit can happen from magic gone awry. So there's enough fear and distrust of Circle Magi in Ferelden in general that they don't. You need to sort of be on your best behavior to avoid having the Templars called in.
Okay.
Okay, but you've come out and so Dave, is that what you're doing? Then you're going to try and stuff her in the sort of the cellar and then head out.
Yeah. I'll hide her in the cellar. I don't know, Brent, because if she wakes up, I mean, she's closer to coming to again.
Well, maybe just put like a rake or something, like something that would bar the cellar closed, or put something heavy over top of it.
Yeah, you know what? I'll see if I can, for all intents and purposes, kind of lock her in the cellar.
Sure. Yep, that's fine. You're really strong, so you can find shit to kind of stack it over and make it look as inconspicuous as you can. Okay,
yeah,
so
with two shovels as well.
You're gonna start. Oh, walk up with 2. Okay, so you guys.
I'll introduce him as Connor, and I'll tell him how he single-handedly
Let's back up. Hold on, because that like what Dave's describing doing is going to take 15-20 minutes.
Yeah. So
you got time to keep these guys occupied beforehand. So outside, you come out, Brent. You introduce yourself. They said, "What are you doing here? You found? Are you alone?"
I'm with my servant is I'm with my guard?
Yeah.
Yeah. But my guard is with me as well. He's also checking. He's just checking out the farm. He's securing the farm as well. He's making sure the farm is secure. And then we were going to bury the bodies. I'm glad you're here and that you can you'll be able to help with the task.
The bodies, did any survive?
I haven't been here in 10 years. And so I'll list off the people that I recognize. And then I'll point out the two that I didn't. They
confirm that it is the woman, the unnamed woman, is actually Quint's wife, Feline, and that the child is it's essentially Edred's grandson, named after him.
I never even got to meet them.
The other two hired hands, the other two bodies, the men are two local men who were hired to work on the farm, a guy named Kelton and a guy named Drool. All killed. And the men start cursing the name of the Knife Ears, which is a sort of a slur for elves.
I don't try and lead them to the. Well, actually, I would try to lead them while we're conversing this to the graveyard to show them the corpses to help them identify.
Sure. You rolled well enough in some stun points. So you're sort of able to direct them away from the barn and get them to sort of, maybe you hand one of the shovels to one of them as you're walking along. What you get the sense of from them is that over the last, they blame the Dalish elves for this. Absolutely. They say that there was a group, of Dalish that came through town not long ago that caused trouble in town, and that basically since then these the elves or the Knife Ears have been causing all sorts of problems, and have brought an elven curse down on the people of Vintiver.
I'll say I sort of disagree with them, because it doesn't look like they didn't steal anything, and they didn't kill them with weapons. They drained them of their blood. It seems
it's for dark elven magic.
An elf would do.
They've been doing this they started with the livestock, and they fled when they saw that a mage was coming. They're devious, those knife-eared bastards.
Could be.
And they're killing now. We've got to see justice for this.
How many? Who else has this happened to?
This has been happening since they left town. Since they left, we've been seeing livestock from different towns go missing. It started with just that, and then finding the mutilated remains of them. And now, God knows, so they've escalated to this point to killing innocent people.
I'm just returning home. What have my brothers been doing about this?
Well, your brothers have been off dealing with the bandits this whole month.
Right. Yes. I've heard about the bandits on my way here.
Yeah. So the bandits, unfortunately, it's not the Dalish who the Dalish have been a fairly regular presence passing through here, but this is even worse than and what they described is not the work of bandits. Bandits go in and steal stuff and kill people who try and stop them from stealing stuff. They don't go and mutilate, livestock or kill people. At least not in this kind of way. They shake their head and say that just wait till Colan Colan. Wait till Colan finds out about this. You can both make a what do you call it? Both make just a check for me and tell me if you stunt. See if you know Colan.
No stunt for me.
No stunt here.
How did you guys do in terms of your rolls?
10 with no modifiers.
14.
14. Okay. You think you've heard the name Kowalin before as sort of an important person in Vintiver, but you don't know what the association was or whatnot, Dave. Connor's heard the name before, but you're not sure, what the association is with it. The context of
I'll just be blunt and ask, who's that? I'm not sure the name.
Kowalin?
Yeah.
Kowalin is one of the he's a smith from town. He's been helping us figure out what we're going to do.
Ah.
He's with us. He had enough of the knife-eared bastards, and he's going to want to hear about this. There'll be, I tell you what, there'll be hell to pay for these things. Vengeance will be ours. We can't let him get away with this. Killing our people? Does your father know about this? What is your father going to do about this?
I have not. I've yet to speak with my father. I'm just returning from the tower.
This is something that he should know about.
I will inform him. I would like to speak with Kowalin as well. It sounds like somebody wants about this.
Once we, why don't you? So once we've laid these folks to rest. Actually, sir, we can take care of this. If you want to speak to Kowalin, let him know. Take some of the boys with you and your man, and then head back.
I would like to wait till the family is buried and say some words. I knew them in life, and I would like to offer my respects.
Oh, well,
they were very kind to me when I was growing up.
Whatever you think is best. We're gonna get some of the boys to go back just to let Kowalin know then. And so maybe around this time is when Dave, you start coming down the hill, or coming down from the barn at least. And you
actually, Kev.
Yeah.
I'm not actually going to the. So, Alistair bringing them down to the graveyard was a bit of a distraction, because I'm heading back to the actual farmhouse, and I'm basically going to clean it, sanitize the wall, so that the marking that was there isn't recognizable as any particular.
Okay, cool. Okay. Why don't you make a dexterity stealth check for me, please?
Nice. 5, 17, 19, 19 and 6 on the dragon die.
Holy shit. Okay, so it is a amazing bit of like, you can think of any, of the best of Tom Cruise's moves from Mission Impossible, of, going to one guy and distracting him with something, or like hitting a bird that kind of flies off and distracts them at one point. You make your way easily back to the farmhouse with no one seeing you. You get in, and there's enough stuff around to sort of, smear it enough. So at the very least, there's just it looks like a smear of gore rather than any kind of words. Then what are you doing after that?
I'll bring out the bodies. I mean, the whole point is that they don't enter the house if they don't need to.
Okay.
So
I thought we already had them at the graveyard.
Well, I don't think we would have had all of them. There'd be 7 out in the field, unless you brought any out with you from the farmhouse, which I mean, you would just come out of the barn with shovels, right?
Right. Yeah. So okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
So I'll carry. I mean, depending on the state of the actual bodies, I could either carry armfuls of chunks, or one in each arm, or whatever is the most respectful way to bring them down.
Okay.
There's a cart or a wheelbarrow.
Sure. There's probably a wheelbarrow. Actually, there's both probably somewhere on the farm. So you guys get to the business of putting these, or interring these people. True to their word, they leave 4 guys here, and 4 guys head back to town to tell this Kowalin about what's happened. once this is over with and sort of the the words of the chant are and the blessings to the Maker are said, what do you guys like? Are you going to follow them back to? I'm assuming you're going to try and find some way to get separated from these guys to go and deal with this Dalish woman.
I don't. But maybe we'll ride back to town, and because I want to get to Coallan quick, especially before these guys they start something.
Town is about a half hour away. I'm assuming it takes you a couple hours. Like how long are you leaving this Dalish woman locked in the?
One of us stay with her, and because she may die if she's not attending.
Well, you know what I'll do is just as the words are when the burial's done, before we start the words, I'll take Dave, take Connor aside and go. I'll tell him to go. We should make quickly to spread word, to send word to, so we may speak with Coallan and my father. Get the horse from the stable, and under my breath I'll go, and I'll meet you by the road.
Brent, I couldn't hear what you said under your breath.
Oh, right. I didn't. So under my breath I say, so I tell Dave out loud to get the horse, and under my breath I say the woman, and we'll meet by the road so we can make good time, and I'll meet you on my horse. I'll meet you with my horse at the road.
Okay. How are you? Are you just bringing the woman with you, or like how are you going to conceal her from these?
Because the guys are with me, saying this is just after we finish burying, but before we say the words.
Yeah.
Because Dave doesn't know the family, he'll get the horse ready and the woman.
Right.
So the guy should still be with me while we say our words of respect.
But I'm wondering what happens afterwards? Like, is Dave going to bring the woman with you to Vintiver?
Yeah. Well, we'll figure out what we'll do we'll figure out what to do with her on the road.
Right. But what's if you've got those 4 guys with you, they're going to see this woman, aren't they?
Right. Well, no, we're not going with the 4 guys, right? There's 4 guys left. And there's 4 guys who stayed behind, but because we're going on horseback, we'll be moving quicker than them. So we'll separate ourselves, and the 2 of us will go on our own.
There's a small problem to that. You were the only one on a horse, so if I take your horse,
No, there's another horse in the stable.
oh, there is.
So I'll tell you to go get the horse from the stable, so we can. And I'll say out loud, get the other horse, so we can move quickly.
Right, but so describe to me how you're avoiding these guys seeing the horse with a woman's body on it.
Because they're going to be at the graveyard with me, saying words of respect, doing the prayers and whatever you've been doing, the funerary rites.
So you're just going to then like kind of run and grab your horse and then ride off to meet Dave before they can see it?
Well, I'll tell Dave, go get the horse, and we need to talk to, So what I'm saying is telling Dave, go get their horse, saddle up, I'll meet you at the road. We should tell my father and then speak with Coallan as soon as possible. So everyone will hear me that I'm telling Dave to grab the horse and go to the road. And why I say the funerary rites, because my horse is already saddled and ready to go.
But Alistair, if I meet you out at the road with a woman and they follow you,
they won't, because I'll be moving faster.
Oh, so but needn't one of us speak to Coallan?
Yes, but he's not here. He's in a town.
But the 4 that you're with will expect you to go with.
No, I'm not going with them. I'm telling them I'm going to leave them. I'm going to go quickly on my own with you on horseback because it's faster than walking. We're leaving the 4 behind. We're not going with them. I'm going to say we'll go quickly on horseback.
Right. No, Brandon, so I understand that part. It's just the sneaking the woman on the horse. You know, that's what I was trying to understand.
The graves are not by the barn, right?
The which? No.
Graves and the barn are in separate locations.
Yeah.
So simultaneously, we're saying the prayers and doing the funeral rites. Me and the 4 NPCs.
Yeah.
Why the funeral?
No, I understand your plan, but the thing I'm having a hard time with is that as soon as that's done, you're like running to your horse, saddling up, and then riding down to get to to meet up with Connor with this woman on his horse, presumably, to then ride off to town, right?
Right.
So how are you planning for them not to see the woman on the horse?
Because he'll be out of eyesight on the road already.
This is flat grassland, right? Like this is a farm. It's a flat farm.
So I mean, if we're gonna make this plan work, Kev, what I would do is,
She's unconscious. Could you roll in a blanket?
well, that's the thing is, I could if she stays unconscious, I could throw her on the horse and cover her with a blanket.
Right. You know what? That's fine. What I'll do is I'll let the dice decide how that plan sort of pans out. Okay, so while
the idea is, what I would try and like hold him off like long enough so he's away before.
Or one of us just stays hidden, and the other one just gets him out of here, and then the one that stays with the woman will.
Or you know what? Here's a better plan. I'll tell him you to go to speak with this Coquelin guy, and I'll go to my father, and I'll just meet you up. So don't stop for me on the road. You move at a slow speed, I'll move at a quick speed and catch up to you on the road, and then you'll be out of eyesight of these people.
Very well, my friend.
Okay, so Connor, you head up to the barn, and when you get to the barn, what you can see is you can hear. Well, basically, you can see that the cellar door that you've sealed down, it's kind of going. It's not moving the heavy load that you've placed on top of it, but something's bumping it.
I'll move over to where the cellar is, and I'll say through the floorboards, "You're in danger. You must do exactly what I say."
Okay. The bumping stops.
Give me a moment. I'll open the cellar door. You must say nothing and heed my words exactly.
Okay.
So I will continue to clear the cellar, the way to the cellar door.
Yeah.
Open it up. I'll actually have my my battle axe at the ready.
Okay.
Just in case.
Okay. So you get your battle axe out, put your hand down, and throw the thing open. At the foot of the stairs in the bottom of the cellar, there's the elvish woman is awake and looking up at you, a little leery, and has her hands up kind of when she sees your battle axe is up. She's like, "No harm. I mean no harm."
You speak the trade tongue.
Of course.
You have explaining to us, but at this moment there are men outside that would do you harm because they think that you've done this.
She looks, she says, "We had nothing. I did not do this." But
who's we exactly?
My people, the Dalish elves.
Are there more of you here at the moment?
There is. What is your name?
My name is Connor the Just.
Connor. My name is Ashara. Please, there is a threat that has arisen that threatens my people and yours. Can I leave this? Is it safe for me to leave here?
Not on your own. Here's what I propose to you, and we must act quickly. Are there any others that need to leave this area?
I am the only. And she kind of staggers and hits into the against the wall, and she says, "There are none others, but will you help Connor the Just?"
I'll do what I can for you, but you must do exactly what I say. And I'll relay the plan to her.
Okay. She stops and she says, "You travel with a companion?"
I do. He is Alistair of
Oakhart.
Alistair of House Oakhart.
The local lord.
Indeed.
Mage of the White Tower, I guess you could say.
Into the circle.
What was that?
Mage of the Circle.
Yeah.
Her eyes kind of open. She says, he is a mage?
He is.
You can see she's thinking. She says, let me speak. So that I agree to your plan, but I must tell you, there is more that you must know. This plan, Connor, our band visited the village, Vintiver, 2 weeks ago during the Harvest Festival. We were welcomed then, but there was trouble. Some of the local men had too much to drink, and there was a confrontation with one of our young men. Harsh words were exchanged, and Harallan, one of our hunters, attacked the big blacksmith, the one that they call Coallan. The village warden separated them before it could get out of hand, but the damage was done. We were no longer welcome there, and we moved on as soon as the festival ended. It seemed that they were eager to take offense at us. Harallan was angry at our treatment, but our elders assigned him the duty of scouting as we made our way through the Brazilian forest to give him time for his head to cool. He was the first to disappear. He simply didn't return from his scouting one night. Then other scouts and hunters began to go missing, as did the ones sent to look after them. The elders decided we should go back, but by then it was too late. 3 days after Harallan disappeared, before we could reach the edge of the forest, they attacked our camp. Darkspawn, emerging from the trees in the dead of night. My people were taken. Those who fought were beaten or killed. I was captured along with the rest and taken to an ancient ruin in a rift valley deep in the forest off the trails. The master of the Darkspawn is a creature, an abomination. He calls himself Mithalan, which in our tongue means child of vengeance. I was brought before him and then to his chambers. I managed to escape, taking the broken link of silver, which I have since managed to lose. I had laid it out on as if on a she's lost that. The Darkspawn pursued me, accompanied by a pack of baying beasts. I was wounded but managed to avoid them, hiding amongst the trees and the gullies in the forest for more than a day, always moving, never resting for long. I stumbled upon the farm where you found me and managed to hide myself in the hayloft. I heard some of the farmers coming. The Darkspawn must have attacked. I remember the terrible screams, and then nothing, until I awoke in here, my wounds healed. Please, you must help my people. The Mithalan and his people must be stopped before they spread from the forest and then on to my people, onto your people.
Can Mithalan be sent back to wherever it is that he came?
Creatures such as his can always be defeated. Perhaps your friend, the mage, he may know. They truck in the creatures of the Fade or the other realm. Perhaps he can send them back.
And what of this link that you had?
I don't know. It seemed to be something important to Mithalan, but I don't know where it's gone. She comes to you and says, "Did you or your friend take it?"
I have it on my person, Ashara. I needed to assure myself that that it wouldn't come to improper use. You have to understand, at the time, I knew none of this.
You can explain to her what I.
That's so. My wounds healed. I knew that it wasn't the Darkspawn who took me if my wounds were healed. How they healed so quickly, I do not know. Perhaps your friend?
You have Alistair to thank for that.
Perhaps.
Furthermore, he informed me that that the link you were holding was a binding agent, possibly, and of magical origins.
This creature, then, this Mythalin, perhaps it was something trapped? Whatever it may be, my people are in danger. Your people are in danger. I can guide you there. Please, bring me to your friend Alistair. I will follow your lead.
My primary concern at the moment, Ashera, is bringing you out of this place alive. At this very moment, there are 4 men out there that would have blood for this, and it'd be yours if they find you.
Then what do you propose?
Get on the horse, stay under the blanket, do not move or make a sound until I tell you so.
She nods. Very well. I will follow your lead, Connor the Just. Okay, so you find like a horse blanket somewhere in the stable. There is an old, beaten saddle that you're able to saddle the horse with, and you ride down. You keep an eye. I'm guessing you're sort of keeping an eye out for, or keeping a route to the road that avoids any of the men. Alistair, the services finished. The last prayers to the Maker are completed, and then you make your way to to your waiting horse, I guess, and head out down the road. What do you say to these guys as you're heading out?
I said, I'm going to head off and take my and my companion will take we'll leave on our horses so that we spread the word quickly.
Okay, so you go riding out.
Thank you very much thank you for your assistance. It was appreciated.
No, my lord. So please, petition your father. We need help. We need his strong arms and hounds to drive these knife ears from the forest. So you ride off down, and then you make your way down the road towards Tevinter. And it's about, I'll say, maybe 10 minutes or so of riding, or 5 minutes of riding, when you see off to the side of the road is Connor with this elven woman, now awakened, with her arms around him, kind of riding behind him on the saddle. You're a little surprised to see her awake. When you guys... Connor rides up the road on this old draft horse, or field horse. You learn what he learned, which that Ashara had told him. Do you have any questions for her?
When I see she's awake, I will. I'll introduce myself.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming that happens. You introduce yourself. She, tells you what I told Dave before about Mythalin and the.
Okay, I'll see if she has any more specific information regarding to this sphere and.
Well, that's not. You have to. If you've got specific questions you want to ask, that's cool. There's not like, I'm just gonna get what other plot points she needs. If you have specific questions,
does she know anything more specifically about its function?
No.
Or
what she's related is what she knows.
Okay.
Yeah. So
how big is the group? How many darkspawn does she think?
It's difficult. She knows. Emmy, hey. Sorry, she's gotten really bad the last week. Hey, Emmy, come here. Emmy. Such a dink. Okay, she is hard pressed to say how many. She sort of was taken captive and then fled in sort of the dead of night, and it was difficult to say how many were pursuing. She thinks at least maybe between 5 and 10. And Darkspawn is sort of the catch-all name for the creatures affected by the blight or by the by abominations or the fade. So that leaves you with the choice of whether to carry on to Ventivra or to try and find the camp of her people in the Brasilian forest. And maybe what we'll do is we will leave the session at that point. For those listening at home, thanks so much for joining us for the Live from the Sword Coast podcast. We will see you folks again. I hope you've enjoyed, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks' time.